I'm going to be one of those people and say there is a lot of melee on Energy Esports, and they're up against an Ursa. And that is, like, you have to control him so well then, because there's always going to be an option for him to hit. And although they do have quite a fair amount of disable, and the slow from the tombstone, or from the zombies from the tombstone, is very, very good again at dealing with him. If they can bring that down, Ursa could have a pretty fantastic day at the office.
Well, they've got some nice range on the side of XTC. They've got the Venge, they've got the Templar to bring down that tomb. And yeah, they've got some things that could do really, really well against the side of Energy. I mean, the off lane is what they're looking for at the moment. I'm thinking maybe a Timber.
Timbersaw for XTC?
Yeah, for XTC.
Oh,
how do you...
thank you for reminding me.
Thank you, Jabba. I actually predicted Timbersaw to be fourth most picked.
Yes. Would you like to know where it really is?
No, don't tell me. I just think it...
I think we should know.
I feel Jabba should be right about this.
No.
That's increase its rank.
No, I believe it is, in fact, the 32nd most picked hero.
But I completely agree with you, just because it needs to be fourth most picked by the end of the tournament.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's okay, but...
So they're going to pick multiple Timbersaws.
No, but look, I mean, if you've got, like you said, you mentioned, you have the 3 melees, they're going to have the Magnus engage, RP, skewer them back. Timbersaw then engages with his Chakram on top of all of that. Clears always here is trying to right-click XTC under the RP. You've got the timber chains to get him out of any precarious positions with the tombstone down or the zombies chasing him out. I feel it could maybe a pretty good pickup for them. If they do, I mean, at the moment, that's what I'm leading towards.
It's valid points. They also have a very stressful 43 seconds to go on, so they need to pick up the DotA and Die hero.
40 seconds.
40 seconds.
But
I thought there was more.
I think maybe just also mentioning Troll and Enigma banned out. It's pretty interesting. The Enigma in this, yeah, I mean...
It would actually work well.
The control is good. Yeah, I was going to say that the control's quite nice, and then they go for something like Enigma-esque in the sense that it's got a black hole of its own, right?
Yeah, I like seeing this. It's something different from XTC, especially that axe pick. I haven't seen it on the team in quite a few runs, but this is quite different. Aside from the cores, you get your reliable Depi and Adestam Ursa, and then you still have the Treant, which is actually let go in the favor of Adestam. I mean, the XTC.
This is a very different draft to what we saw previously against White Rabbit. Do you think XTC was expecting the outcome from WRG, and they knew they were gonna actually come to this point?
Well, I mean, according to Adestam, they dropped on here on purpose, Jabba.
Well, according to who?
Adestam. They're here by
Adestam?
Adam Moore.
Adam Moore. Well, I mean, you've got them going to this point, not revealing too much. Oh, the Slark, it appears.
There you go. And you were just talking about him.
Oh yeah, that must feel good, right? It's always nice when you get that pick you're looking for.
The X, we should have also seen the X boys. Come on.
One day I'll see my support Viper. Just saying.
One day.
It's gonna. Dota's gonna be around for long enough that one day we'll get the support Viper back, and they'll be like, "Ha! I told you all of this in 2016."
Yeah.
Like, Devin, it's no, 2016 production friends. I started this last year.
Yeah. He's been waiting for quite a long time.
I've been waiting this for a long time. Anyways, enough of us, guys. I think it's time to throw over to our casters. Scorpion, Reddit, how are you guys doing on that side?
Welcome back, guys. We're doing quite well here. Of course, we will be calling Adestam Adam Moore from now on.
100%.
Attaboy.
You do not get the name Adestam, not Adestam. You do not get the name Adestam anymore.
Denied.
You have to earn it back. Don't you agree, Scorpion?
100%. He's trolled us now too far. So
this man has pushed us. He's pushed us, and it is over. Anyways, enough. That was fun, guys. But your time to shine. Take it away, boys. Have a good one.
Thanks so much, guys. Well, welcome back. This is, of course, the loser bracket final, or you could call it the semi-final of the VS Masters tournament. What an amazing tournament so far it's been, Scorpy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is actually the matchup I've been looking forward to the most. XTC versus Energy. This is everyone's been talking about how strong these two teams are to go up against each other for at least second position and to contest that of the WRG stack. So let's see how it pans out for them.
Yep, there you go. Sorry about that. Just had to change a quick setting there because the edge panel's off. But there's a smoke movement up ready from XTC. They did this earlier as well. They are actually going to try and contest the bottom ruin. with this lineup here, I actually do like it. They do have the stun, they do have the lockdown. Let's see if they can actually get that first blood to try and put them on the board and actually, get their nerves calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, stun duration is pretty good from the bench, so that can really set up for a route. And yeah, as we can see, the mini-map is been showing, they got a pretty decent wraparound onto Strike.
There's the sun coming through right now, onto Strike right now. Strike is getting hit up a little bit. Ursa needs one more right click, but it's actually going to be Doom Bunny. So going the way of the support, it's going to be a quick career up. Well, of course, the career up and the boots most likely at around 3 minutes in. And this will definitely give XTC a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, intention being shown here by XTC, more than likely realizing, okay, they might be wanting to go aggressive or at least dual lane aggressive with that Undying.
Yeah, the game sounds are a little bit softer, so sorry about that. I'm just quickly going to boost it a little bit on my side because I can't actually hear what's happening in game. So, looking at the draft right now, whose draft do you favor? I mean, both are unique in their own way, and both are very good drafts. I really have to say, I like the Undying pick once again. But what do you think about the drafts, and who do you give the advantage to?
I think I give a slight edge to XTC. The call is really strong. It's a solid lockdown throughout the game. It scales late very well. The Treant T2 scales pretty well into the game. And then Adestam's playing on Ursa, and it's something he's very comfortable on.
We sort of thought this was going to be happening. XTC going for an aggro try here, and we're actually moving on to Dreamy right now. Dreamy taking a lot of damage, but there you go, Strike. He turns around, he actually gets the shackle off to actually save the rest of his team, and Adestam just goes back to farm. Dota and Die might be in quite a bit of trouble, and keep in mind, going aggro up against an Undying is not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Absolutely, the Undying rotated down here immediately as soon as they realized that this is the goal. So the 1v1 matchup in the top lane is going to be the Legion versus the Axe. It favors the Axe pretty nicely, but I mean at the same time, this Undying is going to make the life of XTC an absolute misery. Second time we're seeing this sort of strat come out, and as we can see, the decay is just stacking up for him. He's on 20 strength bonus.
It is literally going to come down to who can output the most damage, because the side of XTC, they're going to be on very low HP, but they do have an Ursa.
Yeah.
So Ursa can actually cleave through it quite fast. Ursa has 4 decay stacks. It takes, unfortunately, a very, very long time to get off. So they're going to try and push the wave up a little bit, try and delay so that the creeps are here so that they don't get another decay stack off by the time the creeps come back to roughly around here. They're going to try and make sure the decay stacks are completely off. Yeah. Let's see if it will be there. And as you can see, Adestam's just waiting away. He doesn't want to move in too close just yet. The pull's already there as well. And this is the way, this is how you deal up against those decay stacks. You try and get a pull off. You try and just delay it a little bit. Now all of a sudden, all the decay stacks are away. You have HP. And another thing we haven't actually mentioned is if you're now all of a sudden sitting on only 400 HP because of all the decay stacks, and you just eat one tango or 300 HP. You eat one tango, you're back to full HP. When those decay stacks are off, you all of a sudden are back to full HP where you might have started off with a lot less.
Yeah.
There is that mechanic that could also work in their favor.
Of course, when you got a low HP pool, you're going to get a lot more out of these set HP regens. But I think that another big story here is that the mid lane is definitely going Zepi's way. And we did expect this. He's having a bit of a tough time underneath the tower, but he's coming out ahead. Actually, that gave a little bit of an opportunity there for the Magnus, but he's having a tough time. Sideblade's constantly hitting him.
We actually were...
Bit of a problem.
We're actually busy thinking if they were going to be putting the Ursa mid up against the Magnus, because Ursa would also destroy a Magnus in that middle lane, but this TA will do okay. Depi's TA has been picked up quite a bit. Do you perhaps have any stats from Sargon?
Yeah, I mean, Depi's TA, he got banned 3 times up against him. He's played it, I think, 3 times as well. So they've put lots of emphasis onto that. It's one of the hot heroes for him, as well as the Shadow Fiend.
I think TA has a 75% pick ban rate. Oh, no, a 75% win rate with 4 games picked and something like 7 games banned.
Yeah, so it's
4th most contested hero so far this tournament.
Yeah, so it's a really good hero, and I think Depi's one of the highlights on it, as well as on his SF. So we'll see. Oh, bot lane, they
are busy looking at top as well. There might be a bit of trouble there going on to bottom lane as well. They actually do manage to get the shackle onto the Venge. The Venge might be the first blood. There you go. Dreamy gets it. He actually manages to get the pounce as well. The leash is there onto Adestam. Adestam is busy fighting. He might go down. This is 2 heroes for the side. Oh, wait. There's a pause coming here up for XTC. They managed to get a couple of kills. Well, Energy managed to get a couple of kills onto the side. I wonder what's happening there.
Yeah, it says it's a TA glitch, so hopefully that gets resolved shortly. But yeah, great fight there for Energy. They just made the right movements, dropped down the tombstone. It was just an impossible task. So,
but the entire fight was taking part over here, and the tombstone was so far up. Even on the retreats, you know, they can't actually get in range of the tombstone. They can't try and fight the tombstone because the tombstone is too far away, and they have to run past the tombstone while they're running away.
Oh,
but Dreamy might be in a lot of trouble. He actually gets healed up here by Mr. Pottykins. Mr. Pottykins goes for the body blocks.
Yeah, Adam Moore, he put a lot of pressure there to try and at least get a kill, but it was unfortunate for him there. He didn't manage to find one. But Dreamy, he is pretty squishy, so there is always that potential for them to find the kill. He's got boots up now, so he can sort of make the distance between Adam or Adam Moore. Apologies.
Adam Moore. There you go.
I'm surprised that he doesn't have Orb of Venom, just to sort of slow him down a little bit, just to help chase down that Slark. But
the big thing is he just wants to constantly put a stack on, constantly like just make sure that there's always a stack up or a Fury Swipe stack up on the Slark or on those heroes. So those boots was, you know, they're going to help out quite a bit. Dreamy was in a bit of trouble there, but he managed to back off. A nice huge stack coming up for the side of Energy if they want to farm it, or they're just going to constantly use it to try and pull back. But looking towards the top lane though, this is actually quite contested. It's 20-4 versus 32-2. Skynet having the time of his life here.
Yeah, definitely favors the Axe. Melee hero up against Axe is always going to be nice for an Axe to deal with. But Chelsea, I mean, he's not doing badly. We saw them run this earlier where they had an aggro lane with the Undying, and then Chelsea goes in 1v1 lane that is not very favorable towards him. And he still managed to make his impact in the game with his lockdown with the duel.
That's it. Looking here towards this bottom lane again, we might see some form of engagement. The creeps are being pulled up here just to try and delay any kind of fights towards this area. But they might want to go in. Is there going to be a Shackle range? There you go. Shackle's actually once again onto Strike here. Onto Doom Buddy. Doom Buddy turns around, goes on to Dreamy, gets the stun there. Adam Moore might be in a lot of trouble. He drops another one to turn around, going to Dota and Die. Dota and Die, unfortunately, manages to get out of that for the side of Energy, and they will be happy once again getting the kill on Adam Moore, getting the Shackle first onto Doom Buddy, making sure he's okay, he doesn't do anything, and then Dreamy just leaps onto Adestam and just right-clicks him away.
Yeah, now Adam Moore has made the right decision. Yeah, he's opted to just leave that lane. It's definitely the right thing to do. It's just way too difficult to realize how much damage the decay really does on top of all the other damage from the rest.
Is this too late, or is this the like right time to basically turn and get away?
I think
call the retreat.
I think it's sort of a better late than never kind of thing right now. I don't think it's. I think they should have just from the start, as soon as they saw where the Undying was, just quickly relocate themselves.
Yeah. Well, they managed to get a kill, I think, after the first heroes that fell, or after the first double kill that they got in the bottom lane. I think they probably should have rotated around. Skynet could have moved into the jungle a little bit earlier. He's already sitting at level 6, so he should be okay. Of course, salving up while tanking the creeps. That mechanic came in patch 7.0 or somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice mechanic.
Oh, Chelsea is rooted up right now. They want to try and move around and go onto him. He goes in for the duel. Is he going to be able to get this duel in time? Or are they going to give it to them? No! He gets the duel. It's a 1-4 on trade. But going in favor of the Legion Commander, getting the 10 extra duel damage.
That was close. That was really close. Adam tried to move attack just to see if he could get that down quicker. But we are going to have a quick replay of that just to see how close it really was.
I mean, the balls on him to turn around and just duel that. Getting that. Look how close the HP is between the two. And it's literally both of them pull back. Who's going to hit faster? And unfortunately, Treant is not known for his attack speed.
Yeah. That was a good pause there just to show how close it actually was.
They literally both pulled back.
Yeah. And so at the end of that, I mean, that favors Chelsea again, just calculated, I suppose, is what he would say. But that was a very high-risk play.
I mean, our statsman, and you actually mentioned that as well, if they don't ban out the Legion Commander, Energy is going to pick up the Legion Commander. And it was quite interesting that we saw them, we saw XTC having the first pick and them deciding to go for the Treant, giving up the Legion Commander through to Energy, not actually using a ban for him.
Yeah, Dota and Die is going to scatter them. Mr. Pottykins is in the vicinity with Chelsea, so...
Oh, they actually used the scan right in this area. Well, a little bit, but I think they caught out Adestam on that scan, and because they're standing there, and then they popped the dust.
I have no idea who you're talking about. Who did they catch in that scan? Oh, Adam Moore.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, wait, what's happening there? Well, Mr. Pottykins, he gets blown up all of a sudden.
Oof.
XTC baiting that out, actually playing this very, very, very slow.
Yeah.
Sorry about I was like saying, huh? What do you mean you don't get? Okay, Adam Moore. Sorry about that one, guys. Adam Moore.
Yeah. But Strike also finding the kill on the Axe, who was farming up the stack of his opponents.
They actually do scout out Chelsea right now. He gets rooted up here by the tree protector. And there you go. There's the duel coming through. That's not the person you want to duel. Is he going to get it? He does. Now he turns and burns onto DotA and die. He wants to go forward. That is 6 Fury stacks up, or Fury swipe stacks up. It meant he was getting 150 extra damage once again on that one hit needed.
Yeah.
We need to see that again.
Yeah, this man's a mathematician here. Making this decision is madness, in my opinion. He does manage to turn around. And, I mean, just one more hit could have potentially been the death of him there.
But
that was
I have to say, though, moments of courage. That counter-attack lifesteal coming through and saving his life. To be honest, the one hero you never want to duel ever in your life is a Ursa.
Yeah. And, I mean, it paid off. I mean, he's 2 duels now that we're like, that it was on the brink.
Yep.
Those Fury stacks are so high. I think one more hit would have been his demise there, but really, really well calculated from Chelsea.
Plus, of course, his overwhelming odds that he actually threw down helped him out as well a bit there. It was just very well played. And now we know, oh wait, there's the RP coming in from Chosen One. The Tombstone gets dropped as well. They want to turn around onto Deppy. Unfortunately, they don't have, well, they might actually have enough with Strike coming in. He gets the shackle off, but Deppy's still alive. Now there's the dust popped onto him, but the support is coming in. The body blocks. Are they going to be able to kill him? They do. They want more. Mr. Pottykins, Strike, they're busy moving forward. There was a shackle in range there, but unfortunately, they decided to back off. Getting that kill, XTC, they're just giving up too much in these lanes.
Yeah, the zombie managed to get the last hit there on him. That was really, really close. Unfortunately, they weren't able to kill that one zombie. So,
but hold on quickly here. Look at the net worth.
Yeah.
It is still favoring the side of XTC.
Yeah, that's largely to Skynet. He did a great job in lane. He's farming up the stacks. He's farming up the enemy's jungle.
Sorry, Chelsea, they want to move on to him. They were trying to get the root by with DotA and die. Unfortunately, he actually couldn't get a raise because, of course, as he moves roughly over here, his invis will actually drop off. And is he going to try and get the root? There's the root straight onto Chelsea. Chelsea might be in a lot of trouble. He uses moment of courage on himself, or they press the attack, to debuff himself. Now they want to turn around. Adam Moore might be in a bit of trouble here. The support, only 2 needed here for XTC, for energy.
Yeah.
And okay, XTC seems to be okay. Deppy moving into the jungle. I think there was a couple of ancient stacks there as well for him. He nearly has his full Deso up. And I actually agree with us not to go for a blink first, to pick up that Deso.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. It's pretty good. He's got people to lock down. Oh, looking in the top lane here.
Stun onto the Pottykins, but straight away he just gets debuffed by the Legion Commander, and now they're up in charge. Mr. Pottykins, he tries to go forward. Is there going to be a duel? No, the stop is there from onto Adam Moore. That actually, I think, saved his life. Adam wanted to fight there.
Yeah.
But Doombuddy was just like, no, get out. Yeah. Run away. Do not go forward. Do not stop and go. Just keep on running.
Yeah, really good defensive plays there just to make sure that Adam...
Oh, Strike goes straight forward. He goes and gets the shackle. Unfortunately, it gets debuffed straight away. There's the call by Skynet. He's going to get the first dunk. However, they want to turn around. Adam Moore's in a lot of trouble. Dream is coming in, but Dream is taking a lot as well. The amount of damage that the Templar Assassin is putting out with this double damage to it. He gets dueled up. Is this going to work? He gets another duel, but unfortunately, it's not enough. Skynet wants to go for it. There's the dunk. There's what you needed. It's a 3-for-1 special. Going in favor of XTC. All of a sudden, they're just like, we are okay with this.
Oh, look at this. He's denying his wards with the wards. He's just not getting any of them. This is the most entertaining thing to watch.
Oh, yeah, well, it's fine. You can have the last 2. Very well played there. To be honest, that would probably tilt some players.
Oh man, that was just cheeky there from Strike. I think not enough people do that. It's a lot of gold that you give away with these wards, and I think that's actually pretty good value from Strike. I think well done to him there.
Well, looking at that fight, that was everything Energy did not want. They had the good engagement. They had everything to start off with. But the axe was there. Oh, that was actually the first full team fight that we actually had.
Yeah, I think, again, this often happens when we do see an axe game. As soon as that blink dagger comes up, there's sort of that change in tides. Yep. And he managed to have the blink up for that fight. He's going to have his Vanguard up in no time at all.
And a double damage rune on the axe.
Yeah.
I mean, that was... With that double damage rune, even on that duel, when he actually managed to get the duel, he nearly killed Dreamy just with the side blade attacks.
Yeah, yeah. The TA having DD is just really good, always. He's just going to be able to output a large amount of damage. And they get a nice D-ward here. And one of the things we must keep an eye on, the CA with the early Deso can get an early Roshan as well.
Yep.
So that's something that
as you can see, he's already trapped it up. Just making sure that they do keep vision on that in case Energy decides to do something sneaky. Chelsea got a kill onto DotA and Die here. Where was that? That was
top lane, yeah. Another successful duel there for him. So that's...
Sentry ward plays down. Very good placement.
Yeah, that's really nice. And... they also saw the RP, so it looks like they're going to commit to at least a tier 1 tower here.
This is 15 minutes into the game. He has 40 duel victory. We were actually mentioning this beforehand, that sometimes duel is used not to get damage, but as a zoning kind of ability. To keep that person locked down for a set duration of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quickly, wait, we might see an engagement. There's more TPs coming in here towards the bottom lane. Dreamy wants to come in. There's a blink forward from Skynet. Actually, he goes in towards this area. There's 2 entry points into the jungle. You can go around here or around here. And then there's 1 tree, and they've actually just cut that down. So we might just see Skynet moving in a little bit forward. There he goes onto Chelsea. He blinks forward, but actually up towards the back line. They're going in. The dunk actually misses, but that is Frye going down. Now they want to turn around. They want to do as much damage as possible. It is the tombstone that has been dropped. Can they actually get anything here from XTC? XTC decides to just run away from this. They don't yet want to fight, but Adam Moore, he's coming in. There's the RP onto the Tree Protector. Tree Protector is down. Now they want to turn around. Skynet's in a lot of trouble. Dreamy's doing so much on them. Dreamy, Skynet is still... Well, Skynet is down towards the end of the fight, but here comes the duel. That is not what you actually want. Giving the Ursa more damage, and now, unfortunately, it is a 4-for-1 trade-off. 5-for-1. Why did XTC turn around back there? They were so split up. I could not follow what was happening.
Yeah, that was a disaster.
Can we see that again?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Look at that. I mean, they first started moving back towards the backside. The tombstone was dropped earlier on. And everyone from XTC jumped in, but they weren't focusing the same targets. They were very lucky to actually get a dual victory there for themselves. But I'm not quite sure why they did... they like jumped in on 3 different places at the same time. I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think Energy will be happy with giving away that duel. I think if the TA was free to pick and choose who he was going to start hitting, that fight could have gone a completely different direction. Good use of side blades could have turned things around there. So I think even though it's a lost duel, I don't think Chelsea made a misplay there by any means. He managed to lock down that TA pretty well. And other than that, I think it just was really messy. You make a good point. It was just completely messy, and now they smoke underneath the ward, so that's a bit of a misplay. But strange to the rush. But
where did they smoke up? Oh, I take it they smoked up right here somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
Just one was on the low ground, so he was in vision.
Okay. Well, I think this will still be a free rush up for them, even though the Ursa's not there. But here we go. Mr. Pottykins does get scouted out by Doombuddy. Doombuddy was smoked up, so they might actually know what's happening. Is Energy going to try and contest this? Or are they going to go top? I do like this. They're leaving the Ursa away from rush, because normally you would say, no, yeah, sure, Ursa's going to be the one to rush.
Yeah.
Oh, Deppy might be in a bit of trouble right now. He actually went straight in, the Templar Assassin. Well, there's the duel. Who's the duel actually onto? Deppy is just going forward, actually doing so much damage with his Desolator. He still has Aegis. Unfortunately, the Aegis gets popped. They did go in, but it wasn't enough. Strike, he's in a bit of trouble himself on the Shadow Fiend. Is there going to be a call? The double damage rune is on the axe. That doesn't really matter. But there's the dunk. Unfortunately, it was Deppy that actually got the kill. Now they actually want to go for more. It is going to be Mr. Pottykins, or nope, they just make sure that they destroy the tombstone. Now they want to move forward. Is there going to be a call here? There's the call. And that is going to be 3 heroes down for Energy. Yep. Let's see how they jumped in there, because I was busy looking towards the top. So let's quickly have a look there at that replay. They went straight in, and that was Dreamy doing everything that he needed to. The duel there was nearly perfect. Everything was perfect for Energy, but the Desolator damage coming through from the Temporal Assassin is just too much.
Yeah, in addition to that, I think the minus armor that came through from the Venge also had a pretty big play on that. But, actually, Strike, he's in trouble here. As, he'll take a tumble, and Deppy will find himself that kill. They also managed to find C1 on the sidelines here. So just consecutive team fights going the way of XTC here. They'll be very happy with this. And Deppy in a good position.
The odds here when, like, Dreamy jumped in nearly killed the entire lineup of XTC there.
Yeah, it's the overgrowth was just too good because the Legion just couldn't get that last hit down onto DotA and Die, who lived. And that was really bad.
He definitely didn't die.
Yeah,
Well, it's in the Dota part, and then after this, he's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
But he's got bonus 10 damage on the tree, and that's a decent amount of damage he's dealing. They're going for a tier 2 tower now.
They'll just let Deppy siege this the whole time. The Tombstone does get dropped. And they decide to back off. Of course, the Tombstone and the zombies will just chow through the refraction of the Temporal Assassin.
Yeah, nice wards there. They could have maybe looked for a counterplay if they maybe fell back and smoked. I don't know if anyone had a smoke on hand, but they actually do on the Venge. But a smoke does get popped by Ian. I think that was underneath the ward vision, so they're going to be aware of this.
Oh, let's see if XTC decides to back off from this or not.
Might have not been under ward vision. I might be incorrect there. But, I mean, still, this is they're not going to get anything out of this. Maybe some decent ward placements. I think that's all the strikes looking for.
Does pop up his Shadow Blade, turning around, going on to Skynet. Not really the hero that you want to turn around and go on to Strike. He manages to... Is there going to be a shackle? There's a shackle, a very far-range shackle, but Dreamy jumps onto the wrong people. Now Dreamy's in a lot of trouble. This is not what Dreamy wants. The Chosen One goes in, gets a good skewer off, but unfortunately, it is going to be 2 heroes down. 3 heroes down for the side of Energy. They are not talking to each other. They're not communicating. They jumped onto different targets.
Yeah, that was a bit of a disaster. I believe we do have a quick replay of that.
Take us through this, Colin.
Yeah, so they're going to jump in, turn around onto the Axe. The Axe, he gets a decent call. We can see the Venge TP up onto the high ground, standing defensively in case he needs to get a swap down. But the overgrowth was just so big here. Caught out multiple units and just secures the stun down there. And Deppy just absolutely plowed through them with that desolator damage on those side blades. Really well positioned by him, I can add on top of that.
But what was weird for me was when they went on the Axe started running this way. And then the shackles, you saw the shackles were actually busy coming out. But then the Slark went all the way to high ground. He moved up here, and then, so there was one fight taking place there. The rest of the fight was there, and then everyone moved in. And those kind of fights favor an Ursa and a Temporal Assassin, which, if a fight split up and you can't control them, they will control you.
Absolutely. So, I mean, Dreamy's not exactly having a great time if you compare him to the likes of Adderstam. But, I mean, the real story is this TA. TA is now going to have Blink Dagger up. He's already got Dragon Lance queued up with the Protector Hurricane Pike. Timing going to be pretty good. He is going to be very mobile, dealing a lot of damage. And the same time, the Slark's pretty squishy. If he gets called, he can't get anything off. He's going to get blown up very quickly by the TA before he can sort of get out with invisibility. 8,000
net worth in favor of XTC. All of a sudden, this game turned around on its head. Even though they were ahead in net worth for quite a while, in regards to kills, we might actually see an engagement coming through here. It is just going to be Chosen One, or Chelsea, sorry. Dropping, not even a lot happening there. It's just the amount of damage that Templar does is just ridiculous. Plus she has 10 as well.
Yeah, that's just, it's going to happen now. This is part of the game where Energy need to be very careful about their movements. Warding is going to be essential. But on top of that, they're going to lose buildings. And there's not much they can really do about it, as this Treant's placement has been so good. He's managed to get such good overgrowths. And
but it just hasn't been enough. Yes. Oh, well, there's the RP. The blink forward from that RP. Now it's a swap onto Temporal Assassin. Temporal Assassin decides to turn around. There's the overgrowth. Catching onto 3 heroes. They want to turn around. Unfortunately, Energy, they're just demolished. Well, they're just being demolished at this point. Adderstam, he wants to go. He wants to move forward. He manages to get rid of the Tombstone. Meanwhile, towards the front side, they actually want to turn around and go onto the Slark. Slark might be in a bit of trouble. He gets around. There's the duel onto the Axe right now. The Axe is also under the Serpent wards as well. This is going to be the duel, but unfortunately the duel doesn't latch. Dreamy might be in a bit of trouble right now because they're turning around themselves, but it's still a 3-for-2 trade-off in favor of XTC.
Yeah, that was a pretty decent fight for them. However, they did manage to get the Axe. They'll be pretty happy with that. The Slarkers are not dying.
Once again, they split up the fight though. The fight started off here, then they moved up, and they moved around. And I think this time it favored the likes of Energy because the majority of them were around this area over here. And I think it was Adestan busy running away trying to kill one hero. I think he literally should have stood and fought.
Yeah, and another thing, the Dire also managed to kill the courier, which is a decent bit of gold. So, I mean, it's probably pretty favorable for XTC in that sense. So, a good fight for them, and that whiffed, or it wasn't a whiffed RP, it was just a quick reaction from Deppy.
No, but how quick was that, though?
It was insane. That's just...
The Magnus Blink RP, that was queued up. That was shift queued. Yeah. You saw that.
Yeah.
But as soon as he blinked in, Deppy was just like, double tap, nope.
Yeah. He was ready for it. I think he was definitely prepared for it. He knew that he doesn't have Aegis. They are more than likely going to look for that. And he was just so quick. Yep. It's incredible how quick he was to get out of that one.
This time, DotA and I mean, he's been... they're actually going in onto the slot. There's the dunk.
Yeah.
Not even needed. I mean, you've been bringing up the Treant Protector and his overgrowths. I literally just said, yeah, has it really been that impactful? Because to me, it's literally felt like Deppy's been... It's been the Deppy show at this point. But looking at that the middle team fight that happened here, that overgrowth literally controlled the entire fight.
Yeah.
So I take back my words there. Thank you, kind sir. Sorry about that.
I think also the River, he caught 3 or potentially even 4, and that's why the Slock didn't want to come into the fight because he wanted to make sure he had Dark Pact for the stun from Doom Bunny or either or. And then, I mean, Doom Bunny has been holding on to his spells pretty well, waiting for the right moment. He uses defensively and aggressively quite well, so it's just really good.
Now, let's quickly jump back in so that we can actually see what happened there during the last one. Moving through there, look at DotA and Die's placement there. He wants to cast it, then he moves forward. He actually cast, I think he caught 3 or 4 heroes on that.
Yeah. So
and just holding it because the animation was nearly done. He was about to cast it.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
It's just really good. It's just if he catches them out like that, they usually have a plan. Okay, we're gonna swarm onto this individual, and then all of a sudden you get rooted down.
Yeah, just written down, rip on the bottom lane because there's the blink call into stun, and now they actually want to go in for more. Deppy getting a double kill. He literally comes in towards the end, and he does so much damage. He literally just takes the last hits.
Yeah.
You could be on half HP. Deppy will still kill you.
Yeah, high ground now under siege. Buyback forced out by the Slark.
But what can the Slark do right now?
Oh man, he's gonna need to do something for sure.
Well,
but he
is not empowered up for some reason. But there you go, Slark is actually popping up his Shadow Dance. Wow, that is actually massive for the side of XTC. They know there is no Dark Pact yet, or Shadow Dance yet. But then they scout out Rosh and they're like, okay, that's fine. You can stay on bottom lane because now Slark's going to be very cautious. He won't actually want to take a fight now without that.
Yeah, one of the reasons for him popping the Shadow Dance there is that they had no vision outside and they had no idea where Doom Bunny was with his Venge. If he got swapped out there and then into a call, he's just dead. His entire duration is... He just can't escape. So he had to pop it to make sure that he doesn't get caught out. As we already see now, quick D will coming out from Strike, just to make sure that they can sort of reclaim their jungle in this little bit of time that they have.
Okay, so let's quickly go through the item progression here for the side of Energy. Slark has his Shadow Blade up, he has his Echo Saber. He needs to, the Empower needs to be kept on him at all times during the fights. But he doesn't really have that much. He's sitting below the axe in regards with net worth. Legion Commander sitting still below that. Only Blade Mail and Blink. He has 40 dual victory damage. He had 40 dual damage at, 14 minutes in.
Yeah.
So for the past 13 minutes, he hasn't got a single dual victory. In fact, he's given up to the likes of Temporal Assassin.
And Treant.
To the likes of the Treant. And if I'm not mistaken, anyone else?
I don't believe so.
No, so it's only those two, but still. And there's going to be an Aegis for them. Undying, which worked out pre-10 minutes, right now hasn't actually been able to do anything. Magnus has a Hand of Midas, so that does actually help out a little bit. Well, Chosen One does manage to get caught out a little bit. There's the Tombstone being dropped. I think that's more of a defensive one. They will back off completely from this.
Yeah, they'll be happy with that. They forced out the Tombstone. Now they know once that Tombstone is down, they can definitely push into it.
And Flesh Golem also.
Yeah. So this is definitely Ian now having to defend the high ground. There's no way that they're going to be able to defend this tier 2 at least.
And Temporal Assassin, sitting with Desolator up, full Hurricane Pike, does have an ultimate aura bar building into a Lincoln Sphere himself. sitting with 6,000 net worth above his opponents in mid.
Interesting. They're back out of taking the tier 2 tower, considering they have
Aegis. I'm not quite sure why.
Just low mana on the Templar, so they want to just make sure he has Refractor. They don't want to throw away Aegis, and he's got a full Lincoln Sphere purchase up.
No mana boots up because Venge purchased up the Aetherlens.
Yeah. So that's definitely necessary. So he just wants to make sure he doesn't die unnecessarily and make sure he has that Aegis on hand for when they do opt to go for a push. So fair enough.
So that was one stack up there. Now going in for an ancient stack. Skynet is going to be really happy. Look what Skynet's building here. Shadowblade.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's actually pretty meta to be picking up the Shadowblade. It allows him ability to get into a very good position before he blinks. It also sometimes gives him that possibility for an escape.
Ooh, haste drawn up. I'm literally going to be following Skynet now. To be honest, Skynet has been improving in leaps and bounds every single time that I'm casting him, every time that I'm watching him. He's just been getting better and better.
Absolutely, and if they just see someone now, that could be their demise. Like you say, haste run up on him with
You don't need to catch out multiple people, though, do you?
Oh, TA?
TA, oh, the Axe Call and the TA missing. If they could just catch out one, that is probably Rax.
Yeah.
And I think that was their plan. It's just to try and find the one core.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, high ground, that is more than likely the goal for them. They do still have the Aegis. They got the Lincoln Sphere as well on the Templar Assassin, so very defensive items. BKB is queued up for him, so he won't be too concerned about that.
Do you think that they should try and push for high ground, considering TA will have his her buyback up in like 200 odd gold as well, or 300 gold, and she has an Aegis? Do you think they take that chance, or do you think they just push out the lanes again and just continue on farming, considering they have the advantage?
Well, I think they have backed out.
50,000 net worth advantage.
Yeah, they have backed out, and I think you're quite right there. I don't think they want to give away anything. Chelsea and Dreamy are just waiting for an opportunity to catch someone here with the...
Can those two kill... Those are your two cores. Those are two of the three cores for energy. Can those two together kill Deppy?
No, there's a Lincoln Sphere. You just don't have the lockdown on him with the duel, so they're forced to just...
Even without the Aegis?
Yeah, there's no way. I don't think they... Even if they do, that means that the rest of the lanes are just going to be pushed out. As we can see, bot lane, XTC are just marching down there. It looks like they actually might want to go for the high ground, identifying that Dreamy is up in the top lane. He does have TPs on him, so they should know this.
Well, the Aegis will be expiring soon, so they have to either make use of this or just back up, but there you go. Lincoln Sphere actually popped onto the Temporal Assassin. Is there a secondary Lincoln Sphere, or is that...
she threw it on herself.
Oh, she threw it on herself. Okay. There you go. There it is. And there's the Blink in the skewer and the Blink back. Unfortunately, not being able to get anything. And now Deppy gets threw it on herself. And now she has a second Linkers that gets popped instantly as well. There's the Tombstone being dropped. Turning around, trying to go into the Tombstone. Are they going to be able to actually kill Deppy or do anything about this? The call coming in from Skynet, actually catching out the slug. The RP's there from Chosen One. This might be big. This might be exactly what energy needed. But Deppy is just doing too much damage. Strike comes through, manages to go onto Adestam. Gets the shackle, but Adestam just cleaving to everyone. Adestam goes crazy. This might actually be it. There's the first time. There's 4 heroes down. Is this going to be another one? Triple kill up for Adam Moore, and Deppy is beyond godlike.
Well, there we go. They actually called GG. And, yeah, Energy, they take a tumble here. And this was a great game. We're actually going to get a quick replay before we get out.
This is GG, but I want to see that again. I want to see actually what happened here. This was insane play coming in. Getting the hand, but just look at the damage that's being put out there from Adestam. He also had the cheese. He popped it instantly. Deppy and Adestam, I mean, well, except for the dunk there.
Yeah.
But Deppy and Adestam just doing so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And they just realized now they're just too far behind. They lost the Shraks. They're going to lose the Shrines. That game was pretty much over. Fair enough for them for getting themselves out of that one. Just prepare themselves for game number 2 now. I'm sure they have a plan going into that one.
Okay, give me your quick analysis about what went wrong for Energy there.
Well, I think Energy, they went for that aggressive lane with the Undying, and at the same time, Skynet, he just was finding the farm. He found his Blink Dagger in great timing. He got his Vanguard very shortly after that, and then once that was online, that's all they needed. And at the same time, Deppy just had a favorable matchup. I don't think you want to really be giving Deppy a favorable matchup.
Look at this. Look at this. This game for Adestam, or for Adam Moore, was below average for him. 7-4-12.
Yeah, that's I suppose.
With
I mean,
531 GPM.
This is a hero.
Below average.
It's a hero he plays a lot of. But at the end of the day, I think it was really Deppy who was just doing all the damage. The Ursa was sort of that one hero that they can't kill, and then all of a sudden Depi has Lincoln Sphere, so they can't duel her, they can't control her. And that was one of the key points that we actually I pointed out in one of the team fights is, okay, they locked down Depi, and that's why they had a 5-man team wipe up against him, because Depi couldn't select the heroes that he wanted to attack. He might have won a duel, but it wasn't necessarily a bad duel to lose, because he secured a 5-man team wipe for his team. But the Lincoln Sphere turned that around very quickly. 2
Lincoln Spheres, of course, Adestam throwing it onto Depi, allowing him to push up, getting triggered once, getting triggered a second time as well. They could not deal with that. I have to say, for me, what went wrong here was energy. I don't know if it was a lack of communication, but something happened where all of a sudden they weren't targeting the same heroes.
Yeah.
And that happened at the bottom shrine for Dire, where the slug blinked up towards the top side. That's actually, I think, where they went onto the Ursa. Well, no, it was onto Skynet.
Yeah.
Strike actually went onto Skynet, got the shackles off onto Skynet, and Dreamy went off on his own way. The other guys went off on somewhere different. Can Energy come back from this quickly before we head back to the panel? Because I'm pretty sure that Devin has something to say about
Absolutely, and I think this time around, if they get first pick, I think that's going to be an important thing for them. But I definitely think Energy have the potential to come back for sure. These two teams are pretty evenly matched. I think this time around, XTC just outplaying them a little bit. So we'll see, game number 2. And of course, we're going to go over to
Perfect. So panel, back to you guys. Any thoughts on Adam Moore and his team taking the win?
I think most importantly, I'm just pleased that you've gotten his name, as we have now agreed. It is in fact Adam Moore. And even more importantly, I would like to have an audience participation moment, right? I'm keen to see what the stream would like us to rename Adam Moore, because I think he does need a new nickname since Adestam has been revoked, or however he chooses to pronounce it. Gentlemen, welcome back to the panel. Obviously, quite an exciting matchup, but I think most exciting is that so far, Doom Bunny is, in fact, living up to his claims.
Yeah, so his confidence definitely showed it in that game. I felt like, although Depi and Adestam pulled out their weights in this one, especially Adestam, he was a bit rusty.
The core that we want to see.
Yeah, exactly what he showed himself to be, as well as Depi on that Templar Assassin. As in, he showed it a few games back where he actually got a chance to play this one. But I really felt the unsung hero for this one is Scarnet on the axe, where he picked up the Shadow Blade as well, which makes him even more harder to kill from the likes of Dreamy's Slark. And also Chosen One's Magnus, although it was a really good pick. I felt like it wasn't his hero. To be fair, I don't think a Magnus would be nice on Depi either, because they're aggressive players and they need more spellcasters like Invoker, for example, which was not picked or banned in this draft.
So maybe what you're suggesting is Chosen One didn't actually have the damage mid hero that he normally plays, and rather put him on more of a controlling hero, as opposed to maybe seeing him play an Invoker, something that can actually then help with team fights and also output the damage.
In a sense, yes, because, although you get the RP, which I think is a lot of control, but after that, you're going to need to empower the Slok, for example, which makes him, you either have to empower yourself or the Slok, but, in the end, it just didn't work out too well for Energy Esports.
You made a comment that interested me there, Jabba, speaking about, the position of Chosen One, getting sort of a right-clicky kind of hero. Do you feel that this is the same as how we saw XD kind of fall out, where Jaffa was placed on a Dark Seer quite consistently, and we felt that it wasn't really a hero that he was either being pulled up with enough options to really make the most out of his vacuums, or just not like something that could really control the game as well as, say, like something like Legion Commander that can have that like really big late game impact. Do you think that maybe if Energy changed that around, that this will be something that could change the tides?
Absolutely. I mean, Chosen One got great game sense, can really make those big plays. And had some decent plays, just couldn't actually get enough done with the Magnus. So putting him on a harder right clicker, something that actually can get that damage out, would have done a lot more. I mean, if you look at the team of Energy, the only big right clickers they had was the Legion Commander and the Slark. I mean, we had Chosen One empowering them as often as they can, but after that, he was pretty much just there to RP and put them into a certain position that Energy needed. After that, his job was pretty much done.
Yeah. Empowering the likes of a Legion Commander is pretty scary by theory, but against an Ursa, I think it's one of the weaker lanes to go for, and they went for the Ursa a lot in that game, which kind of hurt the energy cores for quite a bit and then slowed them down in order for XTC to come up, on top with the net worth as well. Yeah. And that I still focus. I think that the Axe last pick also was a very good one, although you did speak about the Timbersaw, which I also feel like it would work very well, but I think I wasn't sure if Scarnet is comfortable on a Timbersaw. But in the end, it worked out very well on the Axe.
Absolutely, the Axe did unbelievably well. And I think the biggest thing that gave XTC the advantage was just their item choices. I mean, you mentioned the Axe picking up the Shadow Blade. We had Adam Moore picking up the Lincoln Sphere. We had Deppy picking up the Lincoln Sphere. Completely eradicated any option of duel. And then you'd have to use the Shadow Shaman to then actually break the Lincolns, either with the Ether Shark or the Sheep or the Shackles, and expelling one of those spells constantly. So it was a great choice from XTC, especially in terms of item progression.
Yeah.
I was going to say that is certainly something that was, I quite liked it. It's just, making use of your items as best as possible. What this also does mean, of course, is our Legion Commander streak is now over. Previously having a 100% win rate, he is now obviously no longer keeping that up. And in fact, I do believe that means we have nothing really of value to talk about with regards to 100% win rate here. They are the ones that have only been picked once and then got in them, of course, but nothing really there. But I
believe Tree didn't do too bad as well, though.
I was about to say, Tree's probably like the top one there, in the fact that he's now played 3 games and won all 3. But obviously with those sort of numbers, it's not really anything to write home about for. I mean, Legion Commander was on 7th attempt, so obviously quite impressive there. But okay, so NG Esports now trailing behind XTC, one ahead, of course. How do you think this will affect? I mean, if we talk about how they were progressing in this tournament, we kind of favoured them to be better than XTC potentially, and then they come down to the low brackets. After XTC had a less impressive performance against White Rabbit Gaming and have been handily put away.
I felt like they still hidden quite a bit of the strats from White Rabbit Gaming. I think they realistically expected to drop down to play against NG Esports, right? And that is when you actually have to pull out your strats, otherwise you're out of the tournament. So by that sense, I think they showed much more from this draft as well. Like, you saw that they actually countered Energy Esports by banning out the Death Prophet, which is really good on Dreamy, as well as the Weaver. So in Game 2, if they carry on with this mentality, I think they can actually take this into a 2-0 win, which is quite big.
And let's not forget, I mean, in the game against WRG, Skynet was playing the Night Stalker. Didn't have the big impact that you would expect to see from a Night Stalker. Put him on the Axe, put him on something aggressive, and then completely you see a different side of him. He was jumping in there, getting off a couple of calls, getting some amazing calls off, changing team fights completely. And all of a sudden, I mean, XTC in a lot better position.
Yeah.
I mean, put him on those impactful offlaners, like the Axe, maybe the Slardar, other offlaners can really control fights, as opposed to this roamer that would run around and try and gank your mid.
Yeah, absolutely. It's where Mr. Worldwide here asking me, what if Legion Commander was banned out? What would Chelsea play? I don't know, because that's all he's been playing, right? So I think XTC, in that sense, it's like, okay, give Chelsea the Legion Commander, we're going to counter it. And as you spoke about the tree earlier, it was great. Dota and Dai played really well at it. Had the control in, had the ulti whenever it was ready, and just got Deppy to demolish them with the negative armor.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think we said that on the panel beforehand. What if you give them their heroes and then beat them with it? Your move. Where do you go to now? But I do believe we have an interesting replay that would be nice to take a look at. So let's go take a look at that.
Yeah, it's just, I think the Ursa is just so strong at this point. They just tried focusing on it, but it didn't work. And here's Scarnet, once again, just taking out who's important. And there we go, Strike getting down after getting the ulti though. But everybody just stays alive on there.
Yeah, so I mean, we can see we spoke a little bit about the Tombstone being somewhat useful against Ursa, but they're not even fighting around, and it's a very good move from the XC lineup is to actually pull the fight away from that Tombstone entirely. And of course, that's underneath the tower, picking up a couple of kills here. And once this duel goes off, it doesn't really end the way you would like it to, getting brought down himself. And although we try to get this TP attempt away, it all ends in tears for the Energy squad. And of course, a pretty big moment, I think, in that matchup, leading to the end result. And I mean, you don't often see like 10 heroes down at a tier 1 tower that early. So, that often, I should say. So, yeah, a pretty impressive performance from the XT side, and obviously they have quite a bit of momentum going forward. But yeah, I think we're about to jump into the draft now. So let's see if Energy can show us something new, something fresh, if they can take this all the way to a best 3. I think we do get the caster's privilege, and that is to always opt for a BO3 to go all the way and a BO5 to go all the way. So of course, let's get behind Energy Esports, and let's see if they can bring things back in game number 2. Once again, if it wasn't obviously enough, for those of you who are just tuning in, this is Energy Esports versus XT Gaming live at the VS Gaming Studios. And we do in fact have Energy Esports 1 down to XTC at the moment with a respect ban to open things out.
That's the Ursa first one. I think Adestam played really well on it. Probably 100% win rate on this. I'm not so sure. On Adestam, of course, specifically. And with the Treants ban for XTC themselves, while knowing that Dota and Dai played so well on this hero, they're probably going to go forwards something different. But there we go. Knights took a ban because we see XTC picking up the trio with the Slaughter and the Jakiro, which is really strong.
It's happened.
What has happened?
There's something different about this game, Reigns.
Warlock first pick.
I mean, it wasn't banned.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually made it. It feels like it's been a long time. I'm excited.
Because the question is, are they going to actually prioritize it? Will Energy actually pick up the Warlock?
No, they will not. They will not pick up the Warlock.
I had a feeling they weren't actually.
But I feel like you jinxed that. You're just waiting. And they're like,
I was like, I knew they're not going to pick it up. It was almost as if they were kind of maybe baiting them into trying to pick up the Warlock. The XTC actually had a plan, considering that they actually banned out the tree.
Well, did you go for the Venji? Now, we've seen this run in a couple of different positions here. So this is actually a really nice way to open up your draft because your opponents are sitting there going, could be anything.
Could be anything indeed. It's also one of the solid picks, the provisional spread for the XTC gaming team. But yeah, there we go. Jabba calling that after the Clockwork pick.
It's just one of those abilities that the teams are starting to abuse, denying the cogs, getting that extra necromastery up. It's a really good pick. I mean, a couple of the teams did try and run this combo. Some teams had success, some didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, now does this call for a Darkseer pickup here on XTC? Strike Visage, I mean, he had a good run yesterday. Triple kill in the first 5 minutes.
This is a great duel so far for Energy Esports. As Halbert did mention, this could go towards Strike. Not Strike, but it could go towards Odu, or one of the supports, Mr. Potikins. But I don't feel like Finch is a Mr. Potikins hero.
Yeah, I hear you. So his mind. I mean, it does at this point feel like an Odu hero.
Yeah. So
it might say. But I do want to go somewhere else. You mentioned where do Energy go to their offlaner now? And we have in fact multiple times spoken about the interaction between Clockwork and Darkseer. But Lucka has one of the stronger Darkseers in the sort of Masters teams. Now, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him play Darkseer for a while personally, but I can recount many times he's been very, very effective on that. But Legion Commander is still in the pool right now. So it's going to be interesting to see if they decide that the value in being able to sort of disrupt the entire flow of the Clockworks game is worth it, or if they're going to go back to Old Faithful.
Yeah, I think I would predict Energy to go to a Legion Commander if it's still available in the pool in the end. I think it's a very good counter towards Shadow Fiend or the Clockwork. But here comes the Warlock, and it's a third pick. So as Halbert mentioned, it is a very different vibe to this draft. But in the first game as well, it was very unpredictable, and it shows that they are, Energy picking up the Axe themselves. So that's 2 out of 3 heroes. That was XTC's first game pick, and now going towards Energy.
It's kind of interesting as well to see this position where there's this, sort of like lesser value being placed all of a sudden on heroes that we've seen with such prevalence. I mean, the Darkseer, the Warlock, and the Legion Commander have basically been the big 3, I would say, of this tournament, with a little sort of side note to trees being banned out a lot. So it's interesting to see that we're actually down now to the 4th pick for both these teams, and we've only just seen Warlock come out. And these other heroes are still in the pool.
Warlock's a great hero to have, especially. It's funny, normally teams would pick up a support and offlane and see where the draft goes. XTC comes in with strong Clockwork and then straight into Depi's hero, and then they pick up the first support. So, that is new, right, guys?
Yeah, that is
the first
really
appearance. Cool. Drum roll, please.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? One of the biggest issues that Winter Waven has is, and it's called Embrace, is heavy magical nuke. Now, admittedly, Visage is quite capable of that, and just giving like a nice smash to the face. So that's really, really good against the Winter Waven. However, right, I've always felt the Winter Waven is one of those heroes that has, it kind of lives in the world of Oracle for me, right? As in, it has a very high skill cap. I mean, you get off like a really great Winter's Curse. You can win a game for your team. It is a high impact support hero. Some good cold embraces are also very, very powerful. And do not underestimate the amount of damage that this hero can do with its first and third spell. It is very, very impressive actually. And I'm glad to see it getting some sunlight in this tournament. But I'm curious to see how it's all going to fit in. I'm sorry for stealing all the analysts at the time right now, or the analytical time.
You're doing well.
Thank you. But there's one thing I always keep going on about is the combination of something like Clockwork and a Shadow Fiend, where you force a fight. And that just makes life a lot harder, because if you are getting caught up by Clockwork, you're probably sending your team into a Winter's Curse and a Rock on top of their heads.
Yeah, especially for Ember Spirit as well. You get the Fire Remnants away, get caught out by the Clockwork, and there we go with Winter Wyvern's Winter's Curse, as you mentioned. So I'm liking XTC's draft, hey Jabba. This is looking really solid. By standard, the lanes are sorted. They're just looking for an Adastem hero. Sorry, an Adamware hero.
Adamware hero. Well, look, the draft.
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, Devin, this is a shout out to you. I know you've been begging to see the SK come back.
And the thing is, remember, I'm not allowed to be super biased because we do want that BO3, so I can get right behind Energy right now, and definitely one of my favorite heroes in the game. This thing's strong, by the way. We haven't seen a huge amount of it, but this hero can actually go into the jungle and become a massive menace as a 4 position. Literally,
they've buffed his Sandstorm, if I recall.
Yeah, so the Sandstorm level 1 damage is actually higher. And what that means is that Sand King can stack, kill a creep wave, go into another camp, rinse, repeat, come out with a lot of farm early on, and potentially kill a hero from its first gang and walk away with very, very close to a very fast Arcane Boot. And Sand King is one of those heroes as well. He's one of those irritating sports. Think like Zai back some time ago when he used to play that sort of 4 position Sand King. They're it's a very effective hero at cutting creep waves. It's got a massive amount of damage output. And even though we can say that since it is effectively flat damage in the epicenter, the slow is really, really good as well. So even if you get to the super late game, Sand King is always going to be something that you have to be concerned about. It's not necessarily the highest value hero in the game at the moment, but it's definitely a hero that if you have somebody who's very comfortable on it, can get a huge amount out of the hero. So I'm really excited to see what somebody from Energy can do with it.
They can do quite a bit. They've got Axe disabled. They've got Venge, who's assumedly going to Odu, and they still have a Visage for it. So in the early game, I think the Vengeful and Sand King dual lane can take out the Clockwork pretty comfortably as well. But that's assuming that Warlock is not going to be a dual lane with him. But last pick, Adastem Gyrocopter is a pretty interesting one. He's going to have, if he gets a lot of farm, they should be comfortable with that as well.
He's also getting a lot of attention, Gyrocopter. And the only team that I've seen really dominate and really do well with him was Whelp in WRG. That once they created enough space, that Whelp was actually able to have a big impact for his team.
All right, well, yeah, I mean, I just want to ask you a question over there, Reddit, as you enjoyed the picture-in-picture, frame-in-frame. How do you feel about, in fact, I'll give this to you and I'll throw it to you, but as we sign off, let us know if you feel that the lineup from Energy can actually compete against that wombo combo potential from the XT lineup. And with that, gentlemen, enjoy, hear your casters, Ritz and Scarpy.
Thank you. Interesting draft coming through here from Energy, from XTC as well. The Sand King pickup, I was actually thinking about the Sand King pickup, moving forward, because you can get a pre-10-minute mana boot and blink if you can jungle the Sand King sufficiently.
Yeah, he's a very good aggressive pos 4. I like it a lot. I think it's pretty good at dealing, especially with the sort of Gyrocopter who's not very mobile. So it's interesting. I think they can also use it as a sort of counter engagement if necessary. You don't really always want to fight into a golem. So, but
sorry, that was like perfect. On camera, I'm like, and then it switches over. Yeah. Production has been on point today.
Absolutely, always, except for their ability to define words. Abstemious is one of those words that they have a poor definition for. I think they really need to go and
I heard them saying that earlier as well in a very incorrect sentence structure, so I agree.
Yeah, it seems pretty poor. But nonetheless, we're going to get ourselves into game smoke. Usual thing.
Do you English production? Well, guys, straight into this game. Looking at the drafts, I like XTC's draft. I like the Wombo, but it doesn't just have the Wombo. Not at all. It has team fight. It has split push. With the Shadow Fiend pushing out with the Shadow Blade up there, keeping the waves out, the Gyrocopter plus the other 3 heroes together. You can put pressure on multiple lanes as well. You can gank with a Clockwork. So it's not just a Wombo, even though it has a Wombo.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. I think there's a lot of interesting team fight dynamics here. But we're just watching the Deppy get a good lead in mid already. With a good.
Did he miss anything this time?
No.
Do you remember?
I remember.
I think it was Deppy as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, he forgot his game. But now he's going to go into lane with a good 15 souls. He's going to just have a.
They could possibly try and just give him 3 more to get max, but I don't think it's needed.
Yeah.
That is literally 45 plus 30, so that is 80 damage that he has right now.
Yeah.
At level 1. That is Shadow Fiend's weakness for a reason, because he needs to struggle to come online. Otherwise, he just dominates too hard.
Yeah. But this
is going to be nerfed, sorry.
Yeah, I think it could. It's been around for very long, though, so it's not a new thing. But a lot of teams are only using it now, but we'll see a very early attempt on killing the SF because you want to get rid of these Necromasteries.
Ooh.
So early smoke, rotation around in the mid. They know exactly what his intentions were with the drops.
Yep, I think that I do like this. Chosen One trying to pull up the creeps just a little bit. Deppy's moving forward. Are they going to move in now just yet? I think that should have been their chance, but it might just be now. Is he going to go in? A little bit forward. There you go. Now we're going to see Mr. Pottycus coming in. Is he going to be able to get the stun off? The stun is not in range just yet. They can't go. There you go. They actually do get the stun. But unfortunately, the synergy is not there. Chosen One not being able to actually get off anything. There's no searing chains off. I think maybe they were trying to wait for that searing chains.
Yep.
Did they have enough damage output without it?
Yeah, I think he even put a taunt off there.
Grave Chill also, so no soul assumption.
I think they wanted Strike to be in the front, and he went around the other side of the trees, which didn't help him by any means. And at the same time, like, Skynet's hasn't really got too much, in fact, but the lane is pushing in, and the Axe is actually going to die to neutrals. This has actually been nerfed. So he's lost a lot. He's got a long respawn timer. It's actually not a good thing to die to the nukes anymore.
At level 1, it's still okay, because it's 20 seconds, and if you have to run from here, there and back, it's going to be more than 20 seconds.
Yeah, it got nerfed though, the amount of gold lost and so on. So, I mean, it's fine. I don't think it's great, but it's not the end of the world. And it is a stack that he had for himself, so he's going to be able to clear it out this time at least.
Like from level 2, level 3, you can't really do that, but this might actually be the first blood on the Clockwork. He does, of course, have power cogs, but he's being controlled up, and there you go. He just moves up a little bit. Skynet playing very well there. Getting it. Is it still going to be the first blood? He's trying to heal up himself. Strike trying to slow him down as much as possible. He will have another Gravekeeper's Cloak, or Soul Assumption, sorry, to actually get that off. Is it going to be the creeps? Who gets the last hit on him? It is going to be Strike getting the first blood up on Skynet. And that's going to be a much-needed boost for this poor support. And he's not poor anymore.
Absolutely. One of the things I want to touch on, I mean, First Blood does go the way of energy there, which is quite nice for them. But again, when we look at Game 1, the XTC have put a lot of emphasis on making sure that Deppy had a good matchup and was doing well, and he's doing extremely well here. Rotation already in, they're forcing C1 out. C1's just having a misery of a time here, while Deppy, he's just having a ball. He's on 20 mastery charges, and he'll surely max that out pretty soon. And C1 just can't walk into lane anymore. He just right-clicks him out.
I mean, 19 to 23 versus 7 and 1. Even with Chosen One trying to bring back the creeps like he is there, it's still, I mean, getting like 1 hit for every 2 or 3 is quite difficult.
Yeah, so that's okay. I mean, level 3 has been hit by the clock. Obviously, Axe starting to jungle straight from the beginning. He too is going to be on level 3, so they'll be happy with this. I believe items are coming out to him, so it's just going to be a solve, though. So you can see the nerf in the gold gain in the jungle a little bit here. He hasn't really got all that much out of it so far.
He has stacked up a little bit, so it's still okay. 3 minutes in, sitting at level 3. We might see a couple more stacks happening. To be honest, I would have thought that some of the supports would have moved around a little bit more to try and help him stack out.
Yeah. I think they are pretty committed to this lane, though. They don't want to give Skynet too much of an advantage.
Skynet might be in a bit of trouble right now. He pops his battery assault. He does get stunned up. Is the follow-up stun going to be there by Dreamy? There you go, the follow-up stun. And who's going to get it? I like this. Leaving the last hit. Oh, wait. Mr. Pottykin's got it. I really thought Dreamy, I mean, he was timing it. And I think it was just the Caustic Finale. Yeah, one level in Caustic Finale that got the kill.
Yeah, I think it might have just procced. That's a little bit unfortunate. Try to get the last hit, but alas, not gonna be there.
My friend.
Yeah.
Couple stacks here up for Dota and Die. Busy pulling up the creep wave as well. So I think he should be okay here. Getting a little bit of farm himself. Only sitting on level 2, but he does, of course, have a wind lace up, so it does help out. But here's another smoke wraparound from Energy.
Yeah, they need success here. Absolutely. Deppy is now getting out of control. He's got 3 points up into raises.
Oh, but Strike gets scanned out.
Whoa.
What a scan, dude.
Well, yeah, they see him missing, and they've stacked up the jungle for Deppy, so they're going to waste this time. This is a lot of time wasted for these two supports. They're sitting here. Where is he? Smoke's timed out now. They're going to be in vision as they walk into the lane.
That's the power of a Radiant Shadow Feed. You can move into the jungle. There's another... Ooh, missed the stack up. But you can move into the jungle, hit the stacks that your team actually makes for you. From Dire, it's a far duration to actually move back and forth. Whereas Radiant is just in and out.
Yeah, absolutely. And those stacks, they're going to pay off major dividends. However, the clock, he's pretty poor at the same time, so he's got a lot of work to do. But his main goal is going to find level 6. Once he finds level 6, we're going to expect rotations from him to make a difference and create more space for Deppy. And at the same time, for Adam Moore. Adam Moore, he's on the gyrocopter, saying we suppose we've been neglecting, but he hasn't been under too much pressure. Of course, the axe went straight into the jungle, so he's been uncontested for farm. And
that
he's
is
having
very
a
true.
good time.
I don't even think I've clicked on him once this game. Adam Moore sitting currently on 34 and 25, trying to boost his experience by getting as many denies in as possible as well. We haven't spoken about the Gyrocopter that much because he hasn't really... The only team that has been using him to a good effect or to great effect is WRG.
Yeah. It's interesting. We've seen quite a bit of Gyrocopter in this tournament, which has surprised me in a sense. It hasn't been as successful as we would have liked. If we could, I'm sure there's probably some stats up there that we could maybe get sometime soon. But I mean, the Gyrocopter, it's a interesting pick, but he's getting free farm here. He hasn't been contested. In other situations, the offlaners were pretty strong up against Gyrocopter, so we'll see this time around.
The Rocket Barrage lasting 3 seconds with a cooldown of 5.5 towards the end, but with the 20% cooldown reduction, that sort of goes down to only a 1.5 seconds delay between using Rocket Barrages, and that is quite powerful.
Yeah, it is, and he's got that sort of farming ability. We can see stacks in the big creep camps here for him, which could pay off.
So we're just focusing on Deppy. Deppy taking quite a bit of damage, but he was basically going up onto Chosen One, and if Strike wasn't there, Chosen One was in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. That is quite true. But Deppy, he's still in a great place. He's got his full ring of Aquila up. They haven't stacked up the jungle again as of yet. But
Sand King is 0-0.
Yeah. I don't know what's.
I'm like scratching my head.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't. He got a kill though. So he's got a kill. He's got more kills than last hits. But I think he hasn't. I think the Avenge has been farming up every time they do a pull. So Dreamy's just trying to get as much as possible out of these lanes, realizing that they under a little bit of a cosh. But at the same time, there's an Axe who is farming the jungle, so they
Axe is doing actually very well for himself, sitting on 63-0. He will. I mean, he's got an Iron Talent up, 4 Tranquils up. He does have a level 6 up. Do you know in Dota you get like those pets that like run around you, like the Crystal Maiden dog, and the for the strength heroes you get this. What is it? It's like a Xenarine little pet thingy that's like running around with you.
Yeah, Armadillo.
Yeah, that thing.
Yes.
I'm like quite surprised they don't have that on because like on all my strength heroes, I always have that. It's like fun to see this little pet just hopping around with you.
Yeah. Good use of words there. I like that. Cheeky. But yeah, I mean, Adesam, he just used his cooldowns to secure that stack. He's now looking pretty comfortable. And on the net worth, he's just below that of the SF, and no one else really contesting from the side of Energy with those two top dogs. A bit of
do you see like a lot of action happening earlier? Well, like early on in this game. I mean, they do have Skynet that's about to hit 6. Are they going to wait for that 6? Are they going to wait for the 6 of the Warlock, which is going to be up much later? Or what is XTC's plan here? Because where are we going to see Clock? Is he actually going to drop from this? He is being healed up by Doom, but it's going to be a very difficult kill. Nope, he's just going to go, oh, wait, I saw a swap, I heard a swap. There you go, onto the Warlock. They want to do as much damage as possible. The DotA die, he's deeping in. It's not going to be enough. They managed to get a kill, so that's 3-0 for Energy. It's just been these very quick and surgical pickoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. That is... that's been really nice for them. They have a decent lead. They're also going to be waiting for the blink dagger up on Chelsea. So there are 2 elements to be looking out for. Once 6 is hit on the clockwork, and once the blink dagger is up on the axe. This is the time when I expect a lot more aggressive movements. These sort of pickoffs haven't really been what you were talking about, where they make big movements and look for big plays. So we're going to wait for those, at least the abilities and items to come online before we expect too much from them.
I mean, I think the Warlock 6 is a big thing here, but that is still going to be a couple of minutes off. It's 10 minutes in with virtually 0 network. Oh, wait, we missed a kill there. I missed a kill. Visage, where did Visage die? Double click on Visage towards the bottom lane. Cooldown was actually used. Sorry, just as I'm busy looking for the stats and the net worth coming through, it was sitting on 0-0, actually in favor of Energy, but meanwhile, XTC is still in the lead, even though they only have 1 kill.
Yeah, so I got some stats from the Nulliparous Sargon, who
wait, quickly, hold on that thought. There is a swap onto the gyrocopter. Triple remnant coming in, but they actually missed. There's no searing chains coming up here from the Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit actually didn't use it. Deppy TPing in towards the bottom lane. They want to turn and burn. They want to counter, but a swap being used and a triple remnant as well. Without anything happening, a little bit of a misplay there from Energy, not actually managing to time that up.
Yeah. So we got the stats in before a potential fight comes through. So 3 picks, 3 bans on the gyrocopter, 30% ban pick, and a 33% win rate. So that means 1 win in the 3 games he was picked up, and that was obviously from WRG. And that's a bit of a rough one.
Oh, the hook shot misses, and the cooldown misses from XTC. And Adam Moore, he's just like, meh, I'm not even going to do anything about that right now. He basically just gives up on life.
Yeah, that's a bit of a disaster. 2 big abilities down. Like we said, we're waiting for that level 6 to come up on Clockwork to see if he can make some sort of a play around that. And unfortunately, it was whiffed. And Dreamy walks away healthy. And cooldown being expended as well. So XTC won't be happy with that outcome.
Imagine if this Shadow Fiend's talent tree at level 15 was 2 damage per soul extra.
That would be broken. Good.
But still, at that level 20 mark, that is basically giving him a free item worth a lot of money.
But I can say you one thing: 6% amplification of spells on Deppy, who doesn't miss raises at all, in my opinion, is pretty damn strong. I know.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
120%.
Yeah, it's
or
almost
106%. Get it?
Yeah, I get you. But he lands them all. Sometimes he lands triple raises, which is gonna add up to about 180 extra damage.
Sorry about that. I had to quickly take my headset off to cough. Doom Bunny might be in a bit of trouble. Oh, I'm not even.
Yeah, a bit of trouble, a lot of trouble.
Poof, I say poof.
Yeah.
Skynet now, though, he is busy running away. Does manage to get the cogs off, but he can't TP away. He can't do anything. That's actually going to be a double kill.
Oh,
and
boy.
we haven't even hyped that up or done anything in regard to that because I just thought that was a pretty simple and clean kill.
Yeah, and pretty surgical, actually, once again. And Strike definitely showing that his Visage is definitely something to be concerned about. Potentially even want to ban that out.
An underused hero.
Yeah, he's very skilled on this hero. Very comfort pick for him.
Oh, the amount of damage that the Shadow Fiend Requiem actually had there.
Yeah, so that's, again, a good pick for them, and that's Blink Dagger up on that.
Didn't you just say that like twice in a row?
Yeah,
Energy?
twice. Well, it's been good rotations and making great movements. XTC sort of slipped up. They made a couple of misplays. They wasted their first hook shot, so they know that's up now. The first blink on the axe is success, and it's success on the one hero that's running away with net worth at the stage. So that's really nice for them to slow Deppy down. He's got to go farm up some souls. He does have Shadow Blade though, which is something.
When is this 6 coming up on Doom Bunny? XTC needs this. Their fights, or they need to team fight. They want a team fight in the start of the game to try and gain control, to be able to start pushing and then ganking a little bit more. But at this point, they're just letting Energy do exactly what they want to do. There is Skynet coming in. He does have a hook if he needs to, but no, there's a double stun coming in from Mr. Pottykins. He's just shown his Blink Dagger. There's the hook shot once again going in, this time actually landing as well as the Rocket Barrage. Nothing yet happening. Sorry about that. The stop is coming in onto him, and he's just being blown up. I don't even know why I was stuttering there. That wasn't so much to hype about. It's just been... XTC doesn't know. It really feels like they don't know what they want to do.
Yeah, it's...
Why are you using your hook shot when your team isn't there? When you aren't going in for the full fight? You've just seen Ember Spirit coming in with, once again, triple remnants.
Yeah. I think it was kind of baited out. They ran backwards, so they thought, oh, no one's here, that's why they're running. And then all of a sudden, they threw out the hook shot, and they turned around very quickly and said, oh, we got you, man. And it's a little bit unfortunate for them there. But XTC making a few misplays here.
Deppy might be in a lot of trouble himself. He gets stunned up as well as caught, and he just gets blown up. Okay, guys. This is not going well for the side of XTC.
That was odd, though. He walked. He knew. He should have known.
He was like walking behind them.
Yeah.
I thought he had an invis run.
He has a Shadow Blade. He didn't use the Shadow Blade, I don't believe. Unless it timed out as soon as he was underneath the ward. Oh,
yep.
That's a dead Warlock.
He does have 6, though.
Yeah.
Finally.
On the plus side.
On the plus side.
Yeah. I think Saga can relate with getting a late Warlock 6, but...
a very late Warlock 6.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow when you are playing that Pods 5 like that, but he does have it now, so we're going to look for some sort of play.
I am extremely surprised right now because XTC is only 1,500 net worth behind at 15 minutes. Wow, there's a hook shot into a 3-man cogs coming through from Skynet. Amazing play from him. It is going to cost his life. But he has just saved Adam Moore. He's like, buddy, I will take one for the team. My life for the cause. Here I go, catching 3 heroes.
Yeah, for the cause. For the cause. Skynet, that was pretty sick. Catching out those cogs especially, making sure that they can't keep the chase up. So that was really nice. Yeah, saving Adam Moore.
Yep. Production, do we possibly have a replay of that?
Yeah, so there we go. Big jump forward. They're going to hook shot. Catches actually on 2, and then the cogs are great. They know they can turn this one around. He gets rooted up, and yeah, there we go. No dunk actually coming out from the axe, but
I haven't seen a lot of dunks from him. He's just been, I think they've been trying to boost up the Vengeful Spirit a bit. So not just using his dunks every single time.
Yeah.
But still, catching those 2 heroes, getting the cogs up onto 3 there was amazing.
Yeah.
It's not often you see 3-man cogs.
Yeah, it was definitely necessary there. If Adam Moore, he could have been to his demise there. He could have been caught out.
Definitely. So, I mean, that was literally Captain, my Captain. I save you with my life.
Yeah. Winter Wyvern in a pickle here.
Ooh, Sand King. Yeah. Scouting something out there. He's like trapped out. He's like busy walking around.
Yeah. Mr. Pottykins has Blink. He is wealthy.
He had this like for the past 3 fights, I think.
Yeah.
He's been blinking in, getting like double or triple stuns off. Mr. Pottykins has been playing probably better than I've seen him play in quite a while.
Yeah.
And he's been playing well this entire tournament, don't get me wrong. But he's been getting Ravagers off. He's been getting triple stuns off with his stuns.
Yeah. It's definitely, I think he's been outstanding for his side. And, I mean, we look over at the clock, who is filthy poor. He's really in a tight spot. Even the Winter Wyvern has got more net worth than him, looking for that 4-stop. So Skynet goes, works it out from him. Yes, he made a nice play there to save Adam Moore, but he is not getting exactly what he wants at the stage. He's going to have Blade Mail eventually, but I mean, it's pretty late. He's only got brown boots.
Can I bring up something, though?
Yeah.
The score is 1-10 in favor of Energy. Now, we know the net worth is only 600 in favor of Energy. Only, well, 800 now. That's nothing. That is literally nothing.
Yeah.
How big of an impact is that score on your screen? You're seeing 1 in 10 constantly. How big of a mental impact does that have?
I think it's the net worth. It shows a tale that Adam and Depi have been farming pretty well, but at the same time, the supports having the items that they necessarily need is very important. And as we pointed out, Scarnet's far behind. The Warlock's not really getting anything at this stage. So
there's a hook shot onto the backline right now, onto Strike. He does manage to get it. There comes the Warlock drop. The Golem is there. The cooldown is coming in from Adam. Strike is down. Unfortunately, Adam, he wants to move it forward. He wants to go into Dreamy. He gets rooted up. He gets stunned up now as well. It's only the 1 kill so far, but the Rocket is busy flying in onto Chosen One. He, of course, does have more remnants if he needs to use them. If he needs to dodge, there you go. You see the remnants in front. Getting the dodge off, but unfortunately the Rocket's still following. Chelsea might be in a bit of trouble. He gets the call off to try and save everyone. But an epicenter coming through from Mr. Pottykins. Doing so much damage is just not going to be enough. Can they actually do anything about this? Can Energy counter? They just can't. It's 3 heroes down. He literally went in there with 0 HP, and it was so close of getting more than 1 kill.
yeah, there we go. Now we see the power of the Warlock Rock, and I believe do we have a replay of that? Yes. And yeah, we can see they look to turn around on that. The Clockwork had a great engagement, but that Rock catching out 3, call down, doing a lot of work. That meant they can chase down. Adam having pretty good itemization means he's pretty tanky. They couldn't do much to really deal with him, and this was just run away. And unfortunately, C1 couldn't turn around. He had that Rocket constantly following him. He tried to juke it out, but there was no way around that one, and it just went hay from there. Chelsea, he tried to save his team. Mr. Pottykins came in, seeing if he could do something. That's when you really realize how farmed Adam Moore is. He's got a lot of farm on the back, and it was very difficult to bring down.
Well, considering he has a Dragon Lance up, a lot of stats there, very cheap stats, and a full Sanjay and Yasha. I mean, level 15 Gyrocopter means he has his 15% magic resistance up right now as well.
Yeah.
That was actually a very good turnaround coming through from the side of Energy, but they'd already lost a couple of their damage dealers. They didn't have the Visage there to just boost that damage.
Cancel the TP.
Wait, towards the top lane.
No, on C1, he actually cast a Rocket, and C1 was just standing in the lane, and he was about to TP somewhere else, and then the Rocket hits him. So he's alone here.
He has Boots of Travel up, and he does not have a Remnant up, so quite surprised that he's actually going into the river without the Remnant.
Yeah, they can scout this. They can see that he's got 3 Remnants in hand, but it seems like he's going to play this one safe. So
can you actually see how many Remnants the person has?
Yes, you can see how many your opponent has.
That is broken.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can have a Remnant up, and then it come off cooldown if you get your Octarine Core. I think he also has a cooldown timer. So, yeah, 20% cooldown reduction at level 25, though. So, I mean, it is pretty broken, but you also know that he has an escape, so is it worth it to go on him or not?
True. Okay, so 4 and 10. You're still behind on the score sheet, but you're 2,000 net worth up for the side of XTC.
Yeah.
I mean, previously we were talking about the impact. Before I talk about that, XTC, they want to go in onto Chelsea top. Will they get anything? And DotA2 scouts out Chelsea. Oh, the blink jukes are there. They are real, and he'll get out of that. I mean, we're talking about the mental impact that it has, seeing that you're 1 in 10.
Yeah.
Now you're 4 and 10. You're like, yeah, guys, we've come back a little. Do you think you've come back a little, or do you actually think right now you're in the lead?
I think if you have someone of the caliber of Adam Moore, he knows they're ahead of net worth. He knows this. He knows exactly what items his opponents has. He knows that they've been investing a lot of money into their supports, both Mr. Pottykins as well as Strike, as it's pretty important for them to have good items up. So he knows that they've had to sack something, but for the trade-off of both the Gyrocopter and the SF having a tremendous amount of farm, they seem close to unkillable. BKB up on the Gyrocopter is going to be huge, and that's not too far away for him.
Yep. Well, Dreamy is working up his way. I think he's just bought up the Hurricane Pike recipe, so that's going to be big. But DotA2 comes through, force-stops himself, gets actually the ultimate onto the base just to keep him there. Here comes Depi, gets a good Requiem of Souls off. Dreamy might be in a bit of trouble with the Rockets drop. Now they managed to get the 1 kill. Adam Moore, he is on a killing spree. They want to turn around. They want to go on to Dreamy, but Dreamy should be okay. The Rock drop there just for support, quiet. Not quite sure if that was needed, but they might actually transition into a tier 2 tower from this.
Yeah, Rock being dropped pretty interesting. We got a quick replay of that, so let's get a quick pick at that. So we see a force swap coming forward. They catch out the Venge, and they needed to try and shut him down. He swaps himself out, and then Rock being dropped, maybe a little bit overzealous coming out there, but they do manage to shut him down. The Venge managed to use the tree lance to his advantage, get himself on out safely, and he also managed to get that force stop just in case, but we'll walk that one off. So Tier 2 tower did fall in that time.
I think the Rock being dropped here, I think he clicked on the Rock before the Venge actually forced off himself away.
I think he was just poorly positioned. Again, these supports have very little gold on hand. They don't have force offs or anything like that to get themselves in good position. So it's a little bit of a problem, I suppose, but it's okay. Like, he still got the Rock down. They got a Tier 2 tower. It didn't transition into absolute waste.
But when your Adam Moore is sitting on 13,500 net worth, and the closest person on the opposing team is only sitting on 9,000. Your supports might not have that, but your carries certainly do.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam Moore is going to be sort of that siege tank later on where he just stands still and deals out a huge amount of damage with the flak cannon. He is going for Scotty next. Now, Scotty's BKB complete. He's in a financial position where he's very, very comfortable. And on the same page, so is Deppy. Deppy's looking pretty good. He's going to be getting that... He's going to get that Silver's Edge up in pretty good timing, as well as having this BKB with still 10-second charge on it, which is pretty important.
Yeah. Well, let's have a quick look through here in regards to Energy's item progression. The Boots of Travel are up, is up on the Ember Spirits. That does help out with him just trying to keep up with farm as much as he can. He does have the Veil of Discord, and the Maelstrom recently picked up as well. So that's going to help push out the waves a little bit more. But before we do that, there's actually going to be a smoke rotation coming up here from XTC. I do hear a rocket, so they might actually know that Adesam, or not Adesam, that Dreamy might be there. Mr. Boddykins making sure to block it. Oh, the hook shot narrowly missing. They're still busy chasing though. There's a stun coming up from Mr. Boddykins. They're turning around. They manage to get the kill onto the Winter Wyvern. However, Adam Moore, he gets the rock, or he gets the call down on Strike. Might be in a bit of trouble. He wants to turn around and just do whatever he can. It's a 1-for-1 trade-off at this point, but also a BKB being used up here by the Gyrocopter. I think Energy will be very happy that they managed to actually get away from that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 1-for-1 is not too bad. They bumped down the Winter Wyvern, who's been farming pretty well, is quite wealthy. He's got a 4-staff up, and it's an okay trade. However, the Visage is quite a pricey drop. He doesn't have Familiars up. I think they died in that engagement as well. So Familiars are down for a couple of seconds, so a lot of gold.
Usage from Gara. First BKB usage.
Yeah, that's pretty big. 10-second BKB down on to Adam Moore. That's a bit of a... It's not a problem. I think it's okay as long as they sort of secured something. But
but I mean,
better safe than sorry.
Yeah, you want to use your 10-second BKB in a long, drawn-out team fight where you fight the whole time, where you're completely invulnerable, so to speak, and you just want to go crazy, go ham. So not having that, sure, now it's only 9 seconds, you think a second difference isn't a lot, but that 10-second is a big deal.
Yeah, I can agree. I think that's often the argument with late game BKBs, because they're so useful. But Doom Bunny's actually in a good position. He can drop a rock, force off, and swap.
He's like, Mr. Boddykins, come here.
Yeah.
Swaps him out, but Sand King, of course, just TPs instantly.
Yeah.
So that's okay. 3,000 net worth advantage to the side of XTC right now. ADG is still sitting with a kill advantage. But we also see Gyrocopter. The Ember Spirit still split pushing up. He's actually going up for a full Shiva's Guard. Well, he has that queued up right now. Is the Shiva's Guard going to make a big difference in regards to the team fights?
Yeah, we must keep in mind Shiva's got obviously a decent amount of magical damage. It's also good up against the SF, who does have the minus armor. So having himself get that buff in armor is definitely going to help.
As well as the Wave of Terror, so the negative armor coming through there. But do you think that might not be too late? By the time you get that up, you have a carry Venge, which in most cases you don't want to go to ultra late.
Yeah.
Versus a Gyro that can, versus a Shadow Fiend that can, versus a Warlock that can, and a Clock that does a decent amount of zoning.
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit precarious. I don't know. We'll see how it translates as the game progresses. The magical damage is just going to be essential now. They need to do something. They got BKBs up. Things are, well, difficult at this stage now for Energy. They had a really good start, and all of a sudden they're behind. I don't know if they caught out by surprise by this or not, But
I think they were caught up. They were literally caught by surprise in regards to how far ahead the two cores of XTC are. But Energy is busy moving forward. They want to try and they've just taken the top tier 1 in exchange for the bottom tier 1. Now they're pushing up to the tier 2 top. They are doing what they need to do and just try and cause chaos. Try and split push up a little bit. At least get even trades. Because if you can get even trades while you're behind, it's always good.
Yeah, absolutely. And this trade will be all right for them. But, I mean, they're going to take this tier 2 tower first. They're going to actually force them back. They might not even get a trade here. They're going to be forced back. This high ground is going to be under siege. Any chip damage is good damage right now. And here we go. The TPs are coming back, but they already got a significant amount of damage down. And they'll be happy with that. And still not really making any trade. And
Power of a
that's a
Shadow
win.
Fiend.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's about to hit that level 20 mark. Let's check his... Oh, he's actually gone for the plus 175 HP. Not the skull amplification.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's gone for the 2 damage per soul. And sitting on, what, 300 and... What's that? 30?
300...
37? 38? 39?
Yeah, 330 odd.
35?
So,
I don't know.
yeah, he's got it.
Wait, let's actually count it there. It's 139. It depends. I'm like trying to jump because it keeps on jumping between the auras and the non-auras and the everything. So 139 plus 208, so that gives you 347.
Yeah, and now they're going to take Roshan. Roshan is going to go down pretty quickly. They also got a Medallion of Courage up on Doom Bunny, which is going to assist with this, as well as some minus armor from SF.
Chosen One goes in. He actually scouts this out. Are they going to contest this? I honestly think Energy has to contest this. Otherwise, this game might just be done. But the illusions are coming up here for the side of XTC, pushing out and trying to delay Ember Spirit to come in. Are we going to see any kind of further engagement? There is the route, but nothing further. The stuns were nearly there by the familiars. Oh, what?
Down by the river, Axe in trouble.
Oh, wait, there, sorry, I was missing. I was still looking on the top. Why are they fighting up there? Axe is in a bit of trouble. He is busy running away, but I think they might just decide to push forward here for the side of XTC. And yeah, he TPs out. Axe TPs out. Everyone TPs out. I was still looking here. Why were they fighting down there?
Yeah, so they looked to do a wraparound, but Doom Bunny was just, he positioned himself so well. He caught them as they were wrapping around, got a 3-man golem drop and forced them back. And it was close to finding the axe, so they secured that.
Sorry that I missed that.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I'm getting zoned into like one thing, talking about one thing, and then all of a sudden that happens. But let's actually focus here on the high ground. The golem is about to drop as well. And there's the Veil of Discord actually onto a couple of heroes. Dreamy looking for a swap, but he actually goes in for the Hurricane Pike, trying to do as much damage onto Depi as possible. Depi, of course, does have the Aegis, and he just gets healed up here by DotA and Die.
Yeah, Depi's pretty tank. He did take the HP bonus, which is probably the better pick always on the talent tree, as he's going to be building stats items. He wants to be tanky. He knows he's going to have damage, so if he can stay alive, it's always useful. So he's now in a pretty good position to take this tier 3 tower.
Chosen One busy pushing out towards the tier 2 bottom just to try and split push as much as possible. This goes to show you the experience that the guys from Energy actually have to try and do this. He comes back instantly, and are we going to see our first big fight coming through here? No. Dreamy actually gets forced off out. This might be very problematic for them. The call down is there to actually get it. The hook shot coming in from Skynet. They want to turn around onto Mr. Pottykins, but unfortunately the ultimate from the Winter Wyvern only onto the axe. Nothing actually happening further from this. They want to turn around, and this might just be it. Shadow Fiend, he is going crazy, but being frozen up now instantly. Mr. Pottykins coming up with a huge epicenter. It just cannot do anything. The buybacks are coming in right now as well. Strike is in a lot of trouble. He's coming out with only 16 HP, and there's the swap coming up from Dreamy. Can they do this? Can they actually get a kill onto Adam Moore? Adam Moore, no, he's being healed up once again. He is unkillable. 7-0-2. Can Adestam die?
Man, that's been the question this whole weekend. They're actually still sieging a little bit here. Jump forward coming out from C1. He'll get a good steering chains down. I don't know if they'll chase more. Yes,
is this going to be his death? Adestam is dead!
Finally.
Adestam died. Now I can rest in peace. I think I'm done.
Yeah, absolutely. That was great. That was really, really nice. They managed to turn their fight around pretty well. They, however, did lose their tier 3 tower, but they forced out 3 buybacks, but they got 5 down of their opponents.
Yeah. So I think I might have sounded like the Joker there laughing at Adestam dying, which isn't actually very good.
Adam Moore, poor guy.
Adam Moore, there you go.
Yeah, but he deserves to die there. He should have died 3 times there. I think you can also say that the Winter Wyvern was pretty instrumental in him staying alive.
Very true.
And at the same time, Deppy was just doing damage on the sidelines. Yeah, he managed to find the Ember Spirit, who 2 was forced to buy back. So it's still a pretty good trade for XTC, even though it looked a bit shabby at the end. They got 3 buybacks out and a high ground, so that means the shrines are available to be taken.
5,000 net worth in favor of the side of XTC. XTC, I mean, not a lot of people actually gave them this win.
Yeah, I can agree with you. I mean, Energy looked the hottest coming in. They got a victory off with WRG. Everyone expected them to be doing well here, but whoa! Hook shot off the mark, unfortunately. It's a
I'm like, wait. But like, hands off. My hands off the keyboard. I'm busy looking at you while you're talking. You're like, whoa, I'm like, wait, what's happening? What's happening? Did I miss something again, as usual?
Yeah.
No surprise there. Reddit's cast. Hashtag.
Yeah, another just off the mark hook. I think it was blind. He didn't have vision at that stage, so a nice attempt from Skynet. But he's done a great job. Considering where he was, he's still
quite low on the net worth scale. But his zoning has been good.
Precisely. His impact on the team fights have been substantial. So at the end of the day, Skynet, even though he had a terrible time, is still not in a great position. He's having the impact that they necessarily want.
Well, the bottom lane is being pushed out here by XTC. Do you think they just get the shrines, farm up, wait for the next Aegis, or do you think they still try and go for high ground again?
I think Aegis is going to be vital for them. They realize now that there is a chance that they can turn those fights around. They saw what happened to them on their retreat. So I think they will want to secure that Aegis. I mean, without that Aegis, that high ground push would not have been successful.
Let's have a look at the Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit, boom. There he gets a little nick, a little nudge from that rocket flying through. Nearly having the full Shivas up on a high ground defense has a major impact on a fight.
Yeah, the Shivas is going to help out a lot. It's going to slow them down. It's going to be the extra magical damage that we're going to see, as well as the Veil on top of that. That's going to help his... There we go. He's actually completed it now. So he's in a decent position to help with the high ground, as well as Mr. Pottikins. He's going to be a very, very important...
Keep in mind, he bought back, so that's why he just bought out now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was him, Mr. Pottikins, as well as Dreamy, who bought out. So pretty much their core heroes.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah.
And you aren't even looking at the buyback status. I'm so proud of you.
I'm a smart man.
you see, when both of us are off, then you know. No, I'm joking. But the rest of the items coming through here from the side of Energy, the big one that might come into play here is the Sand King not the Sand King BKB, the Sand King 4-staff. Having that Blink Dagger and that 4-staff to actually be able to get in and get out, get those stuns off, it's basically zoning. To jump in, get the stun, and then force off yourself out. I think that will actually have a big impact because that will also allow him to position himself a lot better when it comes to using his epicenters.
Yeah, I think it's not only that, it's going to sort of save his team from situations. They got a lot of slow, where the Warlock gets his overwhelming upheaval. Sorry, overwhelming.
Wow!
A new hero.
Overwhelming odds. Are you playing ability drafts here?
As soon as you see upheaval, you want to force off your teammates out of that because it's just a big problem. On top of that, you want to get people out of Cogs because Cogs is just too strong. We've seen Skynet be on point with that. So sort of it's absolutely necessary up against Clockwork more often than not.
I actually want to say that Warlock's Upheaval is probably one of the strongest spells to either break high ground or to defend high ground. Because you can stand from the low ground, you can stand here, and you can just sort of upheaval over this entire area. And they can't move, they can't engage in you, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
Ooh, smoke's actually just been used, and okay, that was actually a radiant scan as well, just to make sure no one's on the high ground vision, or on the high ground. And they're busy wrapping up towards the top. They might just catch out Strike, but I don't know if that smoke is actually worth it just for a single support.
This is a very odd rotation.
It's a smoke into warding.
It's a smoke into racks here, actually. This lane's pushed out so deep.
Oh, can they actually catch out Chosen One? This will be big if they can actually get anything on him. Are they just going to drop the rock? There you go. Dropping the rock, not caring. They're blowing him up. He doesn't have a remnant. He can't get out of this. No remnant means you are dead, my friend.
Yeah, that was odd by him. I think C1 maybe made a bit of an error there, but that was a good smoke play at the end of the day. They knew someone had to come defend mid. It was pushing out too hard, and they're going to translate this into racks. They got a golem and more than enough damage. They didn't even need the Aegis. So 1 lane of Rax. So I
Very
believe
uncharacteristic of Chosen One to actually be there without a remnant.
I believe we do have a replay of that.
Oh, let's have a quick look of that right there.
The rock gets dropped. It's pretty good. It just means that there's no way. There was no remnant up. Big mistake. Great smoke play. He gets a remnant out late, but there was just no way. He was too slow. Oh.
You know, the fight is continuing. Dreamy is busy killing up Sand King right now. Is he going to be able to finish the job? No, he can't, but that's 2 heroes are down for the side of XTC, and they do, however, get the top lane of Rax as well. So a little bit of a, oh wait, here comes Deppy with his BKB being triggered up. That's his second BKB usage. He's going crazy to Chelsea. Chelsea, will they actually be able to get the stun from Mr. Pottykins? Unfortunately, not enough, and Deppy's killing spree has ended. Strike getting that, of course. I think, was that with a soul assumption or with just a normal attack?
A soul assumption there. So, I mean...
Pew pew.
Yeah, it's still bad for energy. They managed to catch some exit kills, exit frags, as some of the people might say. But on their way out...
This is not CS, dude. This is not CS.
Yeah, I'll take that back.
Go back to your CS. You are going to be kicked off this casting... It's not a casting couch, but off this casting desk.
I apologize to all the trauma I have caused, but... yeah.
Okay, well, energy right now... Oh, wait. The game is being paused. So
I think they heard what I said, and they're like, we got to go have a word.
Let's just go back to your very ridiculous CSGO terminology being used in here. I actually cast CSGO, like, when I started casting CSGO a couple of times with Burning Red back in the day, I actually would say gold instead of economy. So I'd say, yeah, well, you know, he has 4,750 gold, so he could just buy an orb, and everyone would just can themselves laughing at that. It was always fun. But back into the game is unpaused right now, so Energy just pushing up mid. They need to push this. They need to go for this. They need to try and force this buyback up on Shadowfiend, but it's not going to be the easiest push because I honestly don't think that XTC need to buy back. They have enough wave clear. They can actually do what they need to do here. And even if they lose like a tier 3 tower, they've already got 2 racks. Oh, well, there's a very, very deep stop in. Hookshot coming in as well, catching one here. This is going to be a big fight for either team. Adam is doing a lot. Mr. Pottykins comes in with an epicenter, doing so much damage. They managed to kill off the gyrocopter. Now it might actually mean Energy decides to push up further. Does the gyrocopter have buyback? Let's have a look at what's happening here. The buybacks are there. Strike getting a double kill as well. That was the fight that Energy needed. They lost a couple of heroes as well. But it's still, they managed to pick up so many. Where's the fight recap? Where's the fight recap? Come on, I want to see it. And Deppy's just popped his BKB. This might be very problematic. If they can't blink forward, get the stun as soon as this ends, it's going to be... Oh. He might actually die from this. The Warlock Golem is being dropped as well. And Deppy's coming in doing so much damage. He's actually not the hero that they wanted to catch out right there. And it's going to be Strike as well. They just did not have the burst damage to actually try and take care of him. I think if they caught him out there, if they managed to kill him and then force another buyback, this game might have just been flipped on its head.
Yeah, that's just the punishment of not banning a Warlock. It's just too damn strong. I believe we do have a replay of this. And yeah, there we go. We can see a great stun timing by Pottykins, but a great positioning by the Warlock. Gets it down the upheaval, just means they can't run away. Look how slow Strike is here. He's just no way out of this one.
The Warlock was like on... extremely well positioned there because he was on the low ground. He actually wrapped around to actually try and catch that out.
Yeah, it was also a heads-up play though from the Visage. Managed to drop some birds or familiars down onto Deppy, but still just not enough. Deppy is just sending to us. DD now into the Roche, but with the Skadi. He's finished the Skadi. Yeah. He is wealthy.
He is, but I mean, it's 40 minutes into this game. Is 8,000 gold really that big a difference at 40 minutes in?
The main point is that, I mean, Skynet, he's not far ahead. And
why do we keep on calling him Scarnet?
He used to have his name Scarnet with all the
Scarnet.
Yeah.
What is up with the XTC guys changing their names?
I think he's actually Skynet. He's just been called Scarnet for so long. I'm just so used to it now. But he's had a pretty lackluster in farm, but I mean, you look at the SF and the gyrocopter, they're 23k net worth each, in comparison to the rest of the rest of the team.
I mean, they have the net worth advantage, but the XP is actually side of energy. The swap is there onto the Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter, are they going to be able to blow him up? No, the ultimate, the Culling Blade. And unfortunately, Gyro gets healed up. He is back to full HP. This might just be the fight for XTC. Can they do anything further? They're pushing in. That's 2 heroes down for energy. Now it's Vengeful Spirit. He's trying to turn around. He actually uses his Hurricane Pike up, but Adam Moore, he's moving it forward. He wants to end this game. This is the last lane of Rax. The buyback is there on the bench. Does anyone else have buyback? Can they do anything about this? Can they stop the Mega Creeps from being pushed out here? They might just get dropped out here. This might just be Energy's last stand coming in. XTC might be going back up to the winner bracket. Can Deppy, well, if Deppy, can he get the kill up on Chosen One? Chosen One is down. Chosen One is down. Energy Dreamy, he is dead. This might just be it. This might just be the dream for XTC. Can they do it? I think they have just crushed the hopes and dreams of Energy and all the Energy fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Buyback did come out from C1. They haven't called GG yet. They know everything's on the line here. This is the final game if they do go up with the rock. It gets dropped down onto C1. He's in a lot of trouble. He will die. That should be it. GG does get called, and that will be the close of it.
What has happened?
Oh, man.
What has happened? I am very glad I did not predict at the beginning of this series.
Yeah, me too. I would have said the wrong thing, for sure.
XTC,
Absolutely.
look at that. Just look at that. Look at Adestam grabbing in Mark, the owner of XTC. Everyone grabbing in each other. I mean, I think they surprised themselves here. They knew they could do it, but I think they surprised themselves, and they also proved themselves to be worthy of that top spot. After this game, I am pretty sure that they will be able to go back, relax, and just decide, listen, we can take WRG.
Yeah, Adam.
This is what they needed.
Adam Moore, what a player, man. What a player. They just did so well. But
can you die?
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, Deppy out his mind, he means. So, I mean, XTC looking really hot going into the finals. They've had a long day. They've played 4 games already, and they're going to go into another best of 5 now. It's a bit of a marathon. Their mental fortitude, do you think they have it, David?
So XTC's just played 2 games, lost it.
Yeah.
Just played 2 games, won it. That's 4 games.
What just happened? It's not me,
I quickly take my headset off a little bit. Sorry about that one, guys. Sorry, I completely lost my train of thought there. We're quickly listening to the guys, of course, cheering each other on and everything. Amazing to see that. But going in from 2 games, losing, 2 games winning, and now to possible 4 extra games because WG has a game advantage, they could theoretically be playing 8 games today.
Yeah. Yeah. That's scary. They're going to need the mental fortitude for sure.
But after these 2 wins, they can do it. And I'm sure there's so many people standing behind thinking, listen, XTC, dude. XTC can cause an upset here.
Absolutely. So, got a lot of noise coming through our headsets here. But, I mean, XTC, they definitely, the top team, a lot of people came in here saying XTC definitely number 2, Energy potentially number 2. But this was a
I
grueling
had
match.
XTC as number 3.
Yeah.
And by quite a significant margin. I'm not going to beat around the bush there. I honestly thought Energy would take the 2nd spot and would actually take this 2-0.
Well, I mean, I'm going to give a prediction now. We're going into the finals, obviously. XTC are going through. And I think we're going to have a nice, a potentially 5-1 victory to WRG. I really
You can't have
XTC
5-1.
Well, oh, sorry. What am I saying? 3-1. 3-1.
This is not a best of 7.
It's the excitement.
Oh, wait. This is not a best of 9 because a best of 9 would mean 5.
Yeah. Okay, the excitement got to me there. My maths is hard.
Can you maths?
But yeah, I think 3-1. I think they're definitely going to take a game off. They had a disadvantage, obviously, 1 game already in the bag for WRG. And I just really want XTC to take a game off. If they can take the first game off, they may be in with a chance. But I'm really glad to see them make it through to the finals.
Well, guys, on that note, I think my prediction in regards to this is going to be... I still want to say 3-0 to WRG, but because of the 2 games up for... because of the games here for XTC winning those 2 games, I honestly do think that they can take a game of WRG. So, heading over to the panel, I think I actually want to hear what they have to say because the first thing, sorry, I'm just like all over the place here because I'm trying to figure out what has just happened here. XTC has done what a lot of people thought was impossible, and on the back of Depi and on the back of Adam Moore, I want to hear what the panel has to say. But before we do that, last thoughts.
Last thoughts on this game. I think XTC, they're looking hot. Adestam as well as Depi, they are in a really good position. I want to see Depi match up against Castaway again. It was really good in the game previous to this, so let's see what happens. I'm really excited.
We're heading back to the panel. I'll actually be joining the panel as well in the final. So guys, back to you. What did you think here of Adam Moore and his boys?
Thanks very much, Riz. I know that we were all caught up in your excitement as well, so I can tell you that everyone was pretty impressed by the performance of XT in this last 2 matches. They looked really, really good. I think we spoke quite a bit about it before the games went live, how we felt about that high ground defense that the side of XT had put together. And it almost seemed to be that exact same way. I mean, would you guys want to break it down a little bit for us where it all went wrong for Energy Esports?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that as soon as that last fight that we saw take place, they had Adam Moore sitting in the front on the gyro. As soon as he got swapped in, he then immediately got the backup from the Winter Wyvern, and instead of being a good high ground defense, it actually turned out to be really good opportunity for XTC to take advantage of the control of the Winter's Curse, and then from that point, it just made it so easy for XTC to take advantage of that position and then push on from there.
I love that Winter Wyvern pick. That is one man, just being able to pick out the Ember Spirit himself. Don't die. I think he played a really well hero, just helping the team out like that. I mean, you've got your cores who are already better than Energy. Right? Energy having Ember Spirit, who is very responsible to get the late game in if the Vengeful Spirit falls off, right? Yep. And then you get the Gyrocopter, which is you get the farm. That's all you need to do. Rock up 60 minutes later, and then you still have Depi on the Shadow Fiend, he didn't even need souls in order to take down the high grounds on the defense, right? So with that was XTC played that brilliantly.
I mean, when you were mentioning that, as Ian was actually pushing up the high ground, and the SF came back, when Depi came back, having those less souls, still hitting like an absolute monster.
Yeah, and that's when you mentioned the Warlock's Fatal Bonds. They played such a big role there.
Yeah.
The Sand waited for the Sand King stunned, and then getting that Warlock down, Fatal Bonds, Depi just ran free from there.
And the thing is, we were chatting during the game that as soon as you get those lockdowns that miss, we had BKBs up on the Gyro, BKB up on the SF. As soon as you get those stuns or those lockdowns that don't actually matter, and you get the Venge in the wrong position, not the kind of hero that you want to actually be taking damage on, and you actually want to be on the outside, dealing out the damage, not really receiving it, and eventually the Vengeful Spirit couldn't stand up to the punishment of what XTC had to dish out.
I really think Energy played the best, but XTC, wow, they played a much better team. Like Ember Spirit with that mistake at the just before the tier 3 tower, when he didn't remnant, he just got caught out. Starting off from a Warlock ulti, by the way, what can you do? That was two tier 3 towers gone, as well as Rax's.
And I think the other thing, just to go back to the point you were making about, the type of hero consistent or the hero lineup that they had.
Yeah.
They were basically able to get up there. They were natural BKB carriers, and effectively they wanted BKBs, and it basically came down to, I think, Lucka being pretty much reliant, or rather the team being reliant on Lucka to get it off that initial call, because as soon as he didn't do it, if he misses in a critical call, or just doesn't get enough out of the deal, you're left in this position where everyone can just BKB up, and you have pretty much no answer, and you're going to lose heroes immediately afterwards. So I do think that Energy maybe drafted themselves into a bit of a hole in the end. And I mean, I wouldn't say it was a particularly bad lineup. It was just more so, okay, so we're always going to reach that point where they had to 5-man, and if it was going to be a clean 5-man, it was probably not going to go their way. And in the end, I guess the rest is history. Of course, this does mean we say goodbye to Energy now. I think they'll be disappointed with the way that they went out. But I kind of feel like this is the kind of result you would have expected of this team. And sort of top place finish, third place is definitely nothing to be ashamed of in any regard. Not. And it took a really good XTC to take them down. Of course, this does mean that we're going to be seeing it's destined to be a rematch anyways, I guess. But XTC versus White Rabbit Gaming. Now, I'm pretty curious about what you guys think about this, because WG made fairly quick work of XTC in the previous encounter, but it seems like this would be like a slightly different side now. We have a side that's now. I mean, we saw them. These were not guys that were like chill. These were guys that were very, very excited. They were very pumped up, and they've beaten a monster of a team. Make absolutely no mistake. Energy is a potent Dota 2 roster right now, and I'm wondering, do you think it's enough to get some sort of magical upset?
I think so. I mean, they played WRG in a sense that they set up themselves to play a lower brackets against Energy, and that's where they really showed the strats, the strength even, all the way from Dimbandi's interview. With all due respect, I think they felt that in a best of 3, WRG had the upper hand, before they got knocked down. But now that they pulled out what they can show against Energy Esports, I think that WRG has some fear, that they have to experience from XTC.
I want to, as you said, maybe it was part of, I wouldn't say anyone would enjoy going down to the losers bracket, but maybe as opposed to wearing themselves out, going and making it a hectic game. I mean, those games that XTC and WRG played, they were 25 minutes apiece, pretty much. It was a heavy game. I mean, the guys still had to play it, still had to go through that mental anguish of going up against WRG. It didn't last long, so they kind of still in the position where they're not too drained. They didn't have a huge game in the beginning of the morning. They've now played against Ian. A little bit of a battle, a little bit of a tough time, but compared to the draft that we saw against WRG, to the draft that we saw now against Ian, I would imagine completely 2 different teams if you just were looking at the drafts alone.
Yeah, I feel like the strats really shined out from when they started to play Energy Esports. But nonetheless, that just all goes towards also Depi just being so reliable on mid, getting that farm up from...
I mean, the net worths of both their cores.
Exactly, yeah. And that's Alistam showing from last game's Ursa to this game's Gyrocopter as well. 2 different types of carries, also getting that farm up. And also with the Templar Assassins towards the Shadowfiend, both games, I think Depi, specifically in this tournament, outshined a lot of mid players.
The interesting thing about that, and I suppose this is my greatest fear about WG versus XTC, is, and this is a weird one, right? Because when we've seen, when we saw the Shadowfiend versus the Ember Spirit in the previous matchup, it wasn't like Castaway did anything astronomical. He didn't just run over the lane or anything. He played his lineup. He played it well, and he got the most. And as he does, he gets a fair amount out of those sort of lineups that he should take, or matchups rather, that he should be losing. But at the end of the day, it wasn't like the Castaway show, right? It wasn't like this case where he was like destructive and this like absolute menace. It was actually the entire WG squad once again that sort of played their roles, did what they were expected to do, and in the end, they almost enabled Castaway to get back to that point where he was able to be the absolute monster that we know he can be. And I'm wondering if, with all the focus we've had towards the mid lane in this new patch, that we've almost focused there. We've focused on the deputies, we've focused on the Castaways. But the players around Castaway are so good that they can turn what I think Energy weren't able to do around, which is when you have that big core in the mid lane just dominating and causing a lot of havoc. I don't think it's going to be as easy for them to do. And it's really going to be up to, I think, the other guys around it to sort of give the opportunity to Depi to not only win a lane against Castaway, but then do so in a manner that they don't just go, well, we lost the other 2 lanes anyways, so 2 out of 3, not good enough. Do you gents think that's a fair assessment? Do you think that there's am I oversimplifying it?
No, not at all. I think what you say is specifically right. I feel that also, in a sense, XTC playing, as a team so well that, you feel like, okay, you look at the lineup and you think XTC is doing all right, they have an okay type of players, but they gel so well in the same sense that WRG, they have very good pair of supports. You get Castaway, as you say, that he's shining. I mean, he's outshining a lot of other players, but that's because their team gels so well. So XTC, I don't think it's impossible that they cannot beat WRG, but it's going to be a tight one.
It is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a really hard one. But I mean, Depi, in the earlier game that we saw today, I think XTC's draft may not have been completely on point, but still showing some light, like a little bit of ray of sunshine through the clouds in the mid lane with Depi versus Castaway. still did really well. I mean, it wasn't like Castaway could just run away with the lane. Deppy really held his own. So going around the point where you can say, well, if Castaway doesn't get a good start, then the rest of the lineup of WRG will allow space for Castaway to get up to that point. Can XTC play the same way? And if Deppy doesn't get on the line, does the rest of XTC have what it takes to get Deppy into the opportunity to become that big steamroll engine that that Castaway can be? Well, that's something that time will just tell. I mean, that Night Stalker pickup in the earlier games wasn't the biggest impact. Getting an axe up onto Skynet again, that could actually maybe devastate the side of WRG a bit. But I mean, it all comes down to the rest of the team and the way the team plays.
Yeah, with that being said, I think it'll be a bit tough for XTC, I must admit. WRG goes into the grand finals with 1 game advantage. So with that, I think they will try to get the 3-0 clean sheet.
I mean, you may as well, right? Because if you're XTC right now, you have 4 games to win 3 matches against a team that has been just prolific in the last couple of months in South African. They are very, very good, and they've put in a lot of hours to make sure that they're doing things at a level that most teams in South Africa aren't really expected to do at this point. So it is a very, very tough ask. But I mean, we've seen this in the past, right? We've seen teams that have come from behind. In fact, ironically, WRG was one of these teams where they had a pretty rough tournament up against the likes of the former APG squad. Took the then Bravado Gaming team to a position where there were they'd won 2 games back to back, and they were looking great in a BO5 final. And that Bravado side actually came back and bested them in the end. But they were effectively just 1 shy of being able to pull it off. And from a similar position where I think XTC are now. So we may see something very, very exciting, but let's be frank. If they were to win this, it would be the single most impressive performance of any team ever, and I include into that the Masters performance of WRG in last year's Masters Grand Finale, if you will. So they have a tough job ahead of them.
Yeah, they did not beat WRG at all, XTC, in the legs of the VS Gaming League, but yeah, it's LAN. Anything can happen, right?
But I mean, well, going with that thinking, then Energy took a game off WRG. So, I mean, and the fact that now XTC took Energy to school, now maybe does XTC have what it takes to do the same and take WRG to church? Is it something that maybe they can work off the back of it?
I mean, it is Sunday.
I mean, we're not going to get a whole lot better of a way to sort of start wrapping this up than that comment. So, guys, we will in fact have our best of 5 finals, 1 game advantage to White Rabbit Gaming coming up at 7 p.m. this evening. It is what we've all been waiting for. It is the match that is going to produce our first sort of Masters DotA2 champions for this year. And of course, we have our reigning champs versus the new kid on the block, I guess you could say, even though they've kind of been around for a while. But they're new in our eyes, of course, XTC. So we'll see you guys then. And yeah, just whatever plans you had, cancel it. Once again, this is the place to be. It's going to be something quite special. Till then, cheers and goodbye.